yang berhasil menusuk ke jantung pertahanan RRQ Kazu dengan dikirimkannya Abax tadi. Lalu ada MGAT yang bisa menjaga teman-temannya dengan sebuah stave yang dia punya. Sangat efektif sekali untuk bisa membalikan keadaan. Dan sekarang Shockwave ke arah satu pemain dari RRQ Kazu mendeteksi posisi dari seorang Abai yang akan masuk. Abax tidak siap dengan senjatanya. Kehilangan sekitar 50 health point yang dia miliki. Sementara Ray berada di samping sebelah kiri dari rumah ayam dan lihat begitu dia satu orang grup dengan satu bola lebaran dan follow up yang sangat baik dari Abax dengan Rebel Rush yang dia kirimkan. Masih ada Abai kali ini di balik satu buah Stevie, coba masuk ke arah Stevie lawannya, tapi lihat masih ada pembalasan, masih bisa dihindari dengan sebuah Rebel Rush. Berputar lagi ke kiri, cukup low satu pemain, tapi Abai yang tumbang, menyisakan Mal sendirian saja yang berada di bagian belakang dengan snipernya. Tentunya ini akan menjadi keunggulan untuk RRQ Kazu jika mereka bisa untuk menumbangkan Mal dan mengambil satu sniper yang dimiliki. Kocel sudah berada depan. Coba tembak lagi terus dengan mini ujinya. Coba gocek sedikit ke kanan ke kiri, tembak dan tumbang. Perlahan mengejar ketertinggalan dari sang raja.
Itu sih ngelihat tadi setup pertama yang dibangun RRQ itu Maal tuh di rumah L belakang tuh.
Ya.
Kemudian player lain entah miskomunikasi atau seperti apa, warnya di luar dari visionnya si Maal. Maalnya tetap maju ke bagian depan, ngambil rumah coklat tuh di depan rumah L. Sementara temannya war itu di balik rumah
dihapus bang? Sorry bang,
sana,
lagi setting bang. Sorry bang, bentar.
Untuk bisa memberikan damage kan, kecuali warnya ada di vision Maal, aku rasa masih bisa lah. Satu hit mungkin akan langsung buat sekarat. Itu yang terjadi sama Dutch tadi juga. Satu hit kena tuh langsung
dulu,
di push.
Aduh mataku sakit.
Jadi poin kill pertama tadi untuk EVOS Divine. Poin kedua EVOS Divine sudah dapatkan. Berada di Mars Electric kali ini kita. Ada Maal berada di sisi sebelah kanan, tidak begitu jauh kali ini daripada
sebenarnya suka turnamen.
Namun Maal melebar cukup jauh setelah mengetahui informasi
daripada main ya, daripada main. Tapi gue lebih suka turnamennya guys.
Yang akan menghentikannya, namun Koda akan
main juga suka sih sebenarnya.
Maal yang sudah masuk ke pertahanan, 4 player dari tim EVOS Divine, satu granat dilempar ke arah seorang Maal pun cukup sekarat. Ada flash freeze yang hampir saja menjatuhkan seorang Mal, namun masih akan spam aja Mal berhasil terjatuh kali ini. Mana Abax pun menjadi satu player yang harus tereliminasi pertama kali ini. Satu tukar satu terjadi. Ada Azril di sini masih akan mencoba untuk menjebol satu pertahanan duel dan seorang player EVOS Divine berhasil menjatuhkan 3 player dan hanya tersisa seorang Dude. Sudah ketahuan secara posisi, namun masih ada AWM di tangannya. Headshot sudah didapatkan juga dari seorang Kocel.
Kalau Dutch sama Mal, woi,
dan berhasil ditangkap Dutch ya oleh Aimgat ternyata.
Ya, 1 detik terlambat dari Aimgat untuk membuka sebuah global. Ternyata itu bukan menjadi masalah yang cukup besar karena tembakan pertama dari Maal itu gagal untuk menaik kepala.
Betul.
Setengah darah dari Aimgatnya sempat dikikis, dia batal untuk ngelempar granat ke arah lawannya dan langsung buka global ke arah sebelah kiri. Dan follow up Ray dengan granat ke arah Mal itu benar-benar ngebuntungin semua rencana dari RRQ Kazu. Karena pada akhirnya Abai udah masuk, tapi Malnya udah nggak bisa lagi pasang badan buat nembak dari belakang. Begitupun di bagian dalam ketika Azril berusaha untuk menghancurkan sebuah gluol dan gluolnya hancur, dianya harus reload. Dia nggak punya kesempatan lagi buat nembak dan buka kesempatan untuk lawannya bisa melepaskan tembakan balik menuju ke arah seorang Azril. Dan sekarang sudah mulai bertukar lethality dari banyak yang
ngerti cara mainnya.
Sudah diketahui.
Sebenarnya kalau turnamen kayak gini bang, kayak intinya bunuh-bunuhan aja. Sama adu strategi aja sih bang.
Dari arah B, si EVOS Divine Mal berhasil menumpangkan satu poin. Abax di sana tidak akan bisa diselamatkan dan menjadi sebuah first blood untuk Maal.
Gue kemarin ngerti pas Ninjayu sama ini bang.
Dari arah pertahanan, RRQ Kazu mendapatkan sebuah sniper kali ini Abai yang masih menjaga dirinya di balik sebuah gudang. Begitupun dengan para pemain dari EVOS Divine yang lainnya. Sementara Dutch masih memegang satu buah granat dan mencoba mendeteksi para pemain dari EVOS Divine yang lain. Sembari zona berjalan, Azril akan berjaga. Satu buah flash freeze kembali yang coba dilontarkan. Sementara Ray tidak akan terdeteksi dan lihat Abai tertembak dari arah yang berbeda. Masih harus bersabar terlebih dahulu. Kocel coba ambil suruh tersepit dan menembak dari arah yang berbeda.
Bang. Nanti bang kesini bang. MPL jam setengah
bisa mendapatkan dengan satu main,
4,
namun
Bang.
sayangnya follow
Nanti,
dari
makanya
arah
tuh.
Gazu membuat menjauh pertumbuhan
Nobar
dan
ini dulu, Bang.
Apa yang bisa dilakukan di balik
Bisa.
sebuah gol dan 4 pemain menyergap dirinya. 4-3 menolak disalib.
Itu dia, cukup kuat pertahanan dari tim RRQ Kazu.
Nah.
Player Reverse Defense
Ini
sudah
main sampai
menyebar kiri
ini ya,
kanan itu
sampai
tadi
11
sebenarnya.
match memang.
Cuma memang sekali lagi masih ada aja offset yang dilakukan oleh tim EVOS Define. Cukup pede abaknya ada di bagian depan. Walaupun
Habis ini, Bang,
tahu lah
restream
memang
MPL
temannya
PH.
backup.
Soalnya dari
tembakan
kemarin
arah
pengen
belakang.
restream MPL PH gak
Tapi kalau
kesampaian, Bang.
3 player, 2 player aja yang harus dilawan abak sendirian, itu damage-nya akan sudah terasa sakit. Apalagi senjata sniper sudah digunakan di round-round
Nah.
mid kayak gini gitu. Harus lebih hati-hati juga. Sayang aja gitu kekalahan karena satu offset yang harusnya bisa tidak dilakukan. Dan itu beberapa kali terjadi sepanjang round pertama ini yang sudah berjalan. Kali ini kita akankah mendapatkan poin tambahan untuk RRQ Kazu atau justru EVOS Define menyamai poin dengan 4-4. Dame God yang sudah terkena beberapa pengurangan dari HP. Kocel masih berputar kiri dan kanan karena masih ada player dari tim RRQ yang tidak begitu jauh sebenarnya secara posisi dari keberadaan seorang Kocel, apalagi kodanya belum bisa digunakan juga. Dari kejauhan sana sudah ada pergerakan lain. Abai akan berhadapan dengan seorang Ray, berbahaya. Abai itu jarang sendiri. Ray yang tidak mengetahui hampir saja ya harus terjatuh, namun masih bisa menghindar dan ada backupan datang dengan menggunakan granat seorang Kocel mengenai Azril, namun tidak menjatuhkan seorang Azril. Ada flash freeze.
Oh my god.
Abai berhasil buat terjatuh dan juga Ray menyusul di bagian sana. Azril sendiri saja. Azril akan berhadapan dengan seorang Aimgat, namun granat datang. Jatuhkan satu player dan poin kelima RRQ Kazu.
Tidak ada upaya reviving dari Aimgat ketika satu pemain yang sedang melakukan backup terhadap
Bukannya
Ray
temen lu aja nggak
tumbang
pernah,
juga
bukannya
di
nggak kesampaian lu aja yang
sana.
nggak mau restream PH,
Kalau
bukannya nggak
di
mau,
sana
emang pada dasarnya nggak
dan
kesampaian,
memang
kocak.
bakal kubur juga tadi karena granat juga langsung dikirim tuh sama
Ini kan gua udah niatin
ke
banget
arah
ini.
Abai yang berhasil dijatuhkan di sana. Di saat bersamaan Azril pun juga kejepit dan keunggulan tadi ada di
Waktunya
tangan
selalu
Aimgat sebetulnya
mepet,
kalau dia bisa melompat
bis.
dan masuk ke arah
Wall.
seorang Azril ya di balik glual tersebut. Sayangnya memakan waktu lebih dari 2 detik. Itu yang membuat akhirnya granat mampu dikirimkan oleh seorang Dudes. Dan sekarang match point untuk RRQ Kazu. Ray sudah tertembak, sudah cukup low kali ini. Ada Mal yang berputar menuju ke arah yang berbeda, tapi akhirnya Mal berhasil melupakan Ray. Abai coba masuk ke siapa berhasil untuk berikan satu peluru ke arah lawannya. Dengan MP4 tangan akan muncul duel, Stevie-nya dibuka dan mundur lagi ke arah belakang karena nampaknya banyak sekali main dari RRQ Kazu dan mengurung ternyata kali ini para pemain dari RRQ Kazu menuju ke arah EVOS Define yang tidak bisa melakukan pergerakan
Sampai sahur
bebas
kali ini malah.
di area luar karena Mal dari belakang Kocel tertembak kali ini, harus bergerak lagi menuju ke arah belakang dan harus menggulung medical kitnya dengan Moka yang connect buat posisi dari Kocel juga diketahui. Aimgat juga akan tergigit zona saat lagi dan Abax akan bergerak lebih dahulu untuk membukakan jalan terhadap rekan-rekannya di dalam penjagaan dari Azril dan juga Abai di bagian depan. Lini depan dari RRQ Kazu. Abai tertembak dari Abax di bagian belakang, tidak diketahui dan akan menjadi point kill untuk EVOS Define. Seharusnya tapi lihat Azril tembakan, miss, sayang sekali belum bisa menumbangkan untuk pemain. Maaf. Flow kali ini reload. Oh my god. Ada pola cukup baik sekali. Terlalu di bagian atas. Terkena sebuah auto. 2 lawan 2 yang tersisa. Koda dari seorang Kocel sudah memberikan posisi dari Dudes yang berada di atasnya persis. Tembakannya yang gagal dan satu buah sniper dari Azril yang membuat Kocel
Biasanya
tumbang.
nggak kuat terus sampai sahur,
Satu flash
tergantung
memberikan
sih.
ke seorang Azril kali ini dengan sniper
Triple
pede maju
kill.
dan poin
Buset.
pertama. Game pertama berhasil diamankan oleh RRQ Kazu.
Di game terakhir sih faktor clue itu kelihatan banget, kerasa banget itu. Faktor
Udah,
clue yang
sesimpel itu ya bisa.
digunakan secara maksimal. Kenapa Ray yang menjadi komit mereka pertama itu terasa banget. Diaktifin clue, dia detect ada satu orang doang, di commit langsung semua player ke arah sana. Yang sisanya, player sisanya itu nggak bisa berbuat banyak lagi di sebelah kiri dari base-nya RRQ Kazu. Mereka hanya bertahan aja, setup lanjutannya setengah map bahkan sudah dikuasai oleh tim RRQ. Meskipun masih ada 1-2 player yang dimakan juga
Pialanya gede banget.
player RRQ-nya. Namun sayang memang di late game tadi kodanya efektif sebenarnya, tapi damage-nya aja nggak mengenai ke arah Dutch yang baru turun atau ke arah Azrael yang sudah bersembunyi.
Breaknya berapa menit guys biasanya guys?
Tapi setelah pertandingan ini aku ngeliat memang ada beberapa faktor kayak skill penandai.
Oke aja bang sebelum PH ini bentar lagi cuy.
Sekedar apa open mic kita kepada teman-teman.
PH bentar lagi nih, setengah jam lagi PH udah mulai.
Satu hit tadi menggunakan
Kan di jam 2.41.
Maal di factory. Udah itu ketanda orangnya di sana, mungkin juga ada Draki yang digunakan orangnya lagi medkit kan dikomit oleh beberapa player.
Dan sejauh ini apa yang dilakukan oleh RRQ Kazu berhasil, jauh-jauh berhasil. Dan counter yang coba dilakukan oleh EVOS Divine terlihat, perlawannya itu terlihat seperti apa ketika baiting dilakukan di bagian depan. Entah siapapun yang kena, entah itu dari Kocel, entah dari Abax, entah itu Emgat, itu sempat ada perlawanan.
Dua kali cuy.
Mars Electric tadi sambil kita lihat
baru 2 kali.
Bagaimana hal-hal yang dilakukan oleh EVOS Defense sebetulnya sudah cukup efektif, namun masih cukup kurang juga sebetulnya.
Oh berarti game 1
cukup
tuh di
banget
game
buat
gitu guys,
nemuin angka,
boleh.
dan nggak lebih dari 3 tadinya.
Terutama ROM-nya game kedua MM-nya kayak gak jelas mah.
Di area
Itulah Mobile
kedua,
Legend.
di round yang kedua atau babak yang kedua.
Itulah yang bikin
follow up
Mobile Legend
yang
berwarna
masih,
ya.
Kurang dan masih terjadi di Norekdam kali ini ketika tadi Abax berhasil dapetin 1 pemain dari RRQ yaitu Maal. Belum ada senjata jarak jauh yang dimiliki oleh para pemain dari EVOS Divine untuk bisa nge-backup atau penghancur wall dengan Skyler yang tidak digunakan juga oleh para pemain dari EVOS Divine di bagian Norekdam tadi. Itulah sementara dengan EVOS Divine mencoba bermain lebih
Rawamnya AFK ya. Lu tinggal itu aja sih bang. Tinggal dibanti aja itu.
Contoh kayak sekarang penggunaan koda yang di dalam satu game bisa di keep sampai dipakai 2 kali, itu bisa ngebuka kesempatan buat EVOS Divine juga sebanyak 2 kali ketika terjadi 2 kali pasif ya.
Ya harusnya bisa 1 kali aja atau mungkin digunakan secara maksimal biasanya mendekati late game tuh.
Iya.
Tapi kalau zona masih besar langsung kita gunakan kadang nggak ngedetek apapun gitu.
Betul.
Takutnya
terlalu jauh ya.
Iya. Di midnya nanti kita butuh, kita masih cooldown, itu berbahaya untuk kita saja. Dan itu dia poin pertama 1-0 untuk unggulan RRQ Kazu. Setelah tadi menjadi tim home, mendapatkan keuntungan rasyah di ban. Dan bener aja bahkan dari Abai tadi Dutch kita ngeliat Azrael semuanya main sniper.
Iya.
Walaupun dari EVOS Divine juga sama, begitu mereka menang round, mereka ambil beberapa lootingan sniper, mereka bawa. Tapi nggak semaksimal kita ngelihat adanya Maal, memang pure murni player yang belakang sniper. Walaupun kadang beberapa kali entah memang Maalnya yang nggak menjangkau temannya atau temannya yang terlalu jauh dari jangkauan Maal yang ngebuat poin kemenangan harusnya bisa lebih cepat dari arah
Belum ada buka puasa. Pakai apa guys? Pakai tempe kali guys.
Kayak di Poci
tempe doang bang.
Iya.
Maal temannya maju ke depan 3, kemudian Maal di rumah L. Aku ingat tuh jalurnya ke rumah coklat
ada air
depannya tuh. Temannya war di rumah ayam, nah di sini ketutup rumah ayam.
Tapi agak minum, kecuali kalau kilap nanti guys tiba-tiba minum juga agak tahu dah.
Dua temannya offside atau Maalnya nggak bisa follow up dengan cepat.
Terlalu lambat mungkin ya.
Iya lambat. Harusnya mungkin temannya sudah bilang Maal pindah ke sini nih, rumah coklat yang ini. Ya rumah coklat yang satunya mungkin kayak gitu.
Iya. Tapi sangat terasa perbedaannya ya ketika akhirnya di kubu EVOS Divine
lama
tidak
juga
ada
ya,
sniper murni, tidak ada benar-benar insting dari Rasya yang setara dengan Maal dari permainan sniper. Jangankan dari permainan lah, positioning sebagai seorang sniper dari EVOS Divine yang tadinya digunakan oleh Ray itu masih belum setajam ketika Rasya yang dimainkan, karena instingnya mungkin berbeda, nalurinya berbeda, jelas. Apalagi ya di dadak kayak gini.
Jelas sekali. Lihat aja Ray tadi di Katulistiwa homernya connect. Apa yang dilakukan oleh player EVOS Divine atau si Ray itu sendiri, entah dia tahu atau tidak di situ 2 orang, tapi itu connect ke orang. Maksudnya dia tetap di sana, temennya tetap dengan temennya gitu. Udah begitu.
Agak keluarnya takjil.
Kalau dia merasa di depan
keluarnya
sini satu
takjil buat
oke lah
bentar.
gitu. Tapi kalau dia sudah tahu mungkin dengar step
Kalau gua
ada
kagak
dua,
pernah sih,
harusnya dia coba untuk mundur segimana caranya biar bisa setidaknya temennya itu
Malas
backup
buat
dari jauh.
antri-antri guys.
Positioning kembali
Iya.
ya, atur-atur ulang. Artinya ketika duanya udah kedeteksi di depan dari Ray itu sendiri, artinya dua lainnya ada di tempat berbeda.
Nah, bisa seperti itu. Kadang kan Homer itu juga pecah, kalaupun orang yang nggak pakai Joseph nandain lah satu orang gitu.
Iya,
Tapi kadang
iya,
kita
betul.
juga bisa mendengar stepnya, ini 2 atau 1 nih orangnya, harusnya bisa aja. Tapi jarak sebegitu jauh tadi Koda harusnya bisa mendetek player yang bukan 2 orang ini tadi, harusnya Azril sama Abai kalau nggak salah itu tadi.
Iya. Dan gak pakai Joseph juga sih so far tadi aku ngeliat
Beberapa
dari
player
Abai
itu
dan
ya.
juga
Iya.
2 orang depan dari Evo saja enggak. Begitupun dengan RRQ juga enggak. Kalau RRQ aku inget tadi Abai itu dia bawa Kelly, Kairos, Otto sama skill aktif yang dia pakai gitu loh.
Karena 124 udah kena ban sih menurut aku. Makanya
Iya.
Joseph dilepas aja. Kecuali ada 124 yang bisa digunakan, mungkin Joseph akan membantu. Memang mengcounter
Iya, di rumah aja mau ngapain.
dari
Di rumah
Iris, memang tuh Joseph. Tapi Otto tidak. Pecah Josephnya tapi tandanya ada.
Iya benar.
Pecah tuh tandanya. Dar, teman kita kenok misalnya ya. Kita ketanda. Pecah Joseph kita. Tapi tandanya tetap ada di kita.
Slow-nya mungkin enggak.
Iya.
Dari slow-nya. Ya itu efek dari
Jadi
slow-nya
makanya
juga ganggu.
kalau A124 di ban nggak bisa dipakai, udah Josephnya dilepas digantikan dengan skill lain, pasif lain yang mungkin lebih maksimal. Tapi selama ini ya kita ngelihat itu, tapi nggak tahu juga rulesnya. Aku nggak ngelihat rulebooknya secara jauh gitu. Gimana kalau pakai skill pasif semua 4-4-nya gitu kan boleh aja. Kayak di Battle Royale maksud aku. Battle Royale itu kan nggak semua orang satu aktif 3 pasif. Ada loh yang mainnya 4 pasif. Nah, di sini nih boleh nggak ya?
Karena mungkin skill card juga nggak ada, rasanya mungkin enggak sih tertulis di rulebook, atau bahkan yang kepikiran buat make juga siapa gitu, atau mungkin memangnya diwajibkannya dengan satu skill aktif dan juga 3 skill pasif yang harus dikombinasikan. Dan untuk di game sebelumnya 2 pemain dengan tipikal berbeda, ada Mal dan juga Kocel. 10 kill ternyata untuk Mal harusnya ini sebagai MVP kali ya dari tim Arkazu, dan MVP dari Kocel 4 kill tapi damage-nya di angka 3000, KD-nya 1, headshot rate-nya Kocel lebih tinggi dibanding Mal.
Harusnya dari 6 dan 3 9 round kan. Kalau mereka dapetin 4, 9 kali 4, 36 harusnya maksimal bisa mereka dapatkan dari itu pun kalau nggak ada yang tereliminasi kena play zone dan lain-lain. Harusnya total eliminasi di angka 30-an. Kalau 10-nya sudah di Mal berarti lebih dari 25%-nya gitu. Lebih dari 1/4-nya sudah didapatkan oleh Mal. Dan itu dia untuk head to head di game pertama tadi. Sekarang di tempat kita ini sudah kedatangan dari referee pertandingan Free Fire Squad Showdown hari ini. Halo.
Salah.
Halo.
Ngeselin nggak mukanya?
Ngeselin.
Kasih kartu dulu.
Udah ada tadi.
Udah.
Pakai tadi kartu merah 1.
Pakai
Ada tulisannya rahasia nih.
rahasia.
Udah.
Menit keberapa apa pelanggarannya?
Anda mau masukin juga nih kartu merah nih.
Jadi manggilnya hari ini Mantet, Coach Mantet, Wasit Mantet atau apa?
Wasit mantet.
Pak Wasit.
Hari ini Pak Wasit prediksi siapa yang menang dah?
Prediksi.
Prediksi doang ini, bukan
Prediksi
mendukung,
doang kan?
Mendukung. Bukan mendukung
Bukan
tapi
mendukung.
bukan.
Oke.
Prediksi doang.
Takutnya salah kaprah nih.
Salah
nih.
orang-orang.
RRQ.
RRQ. Skor mungkin?
Skor
Oh,
4 pasti.
4 berapa?
They might drop this suddenly. Okay, let's flip the switch. Show them just how good we are in this game.
Bukan sebelum
You got your
nge-lag,
legs in.
bocah.
Yeah, good. All right. It's literally the IRL version of an Aldous going, my turn.
Yeah. Dude,
And it's just cool to see a gold laner that when he's getting provided vision, he does something with that vision. Whether it's Kurt, Brusco, either of those two, maybe even King Kong, a little bit too deep, a little bit too aggro. Keona's always just there to go, nah, I got you. I'll make sure that if you go down, it won't be a waste.
We'll see if they can actually catch Calro this time around or actually fight for this Lord here.
Down to a fifth of its health, now a 10th.
Loh,
King
kok
Kong
menit
lead
11
deep.
ya, guys?
Zaida gets the steal. AOG by Yawi.
Kocak.
If somehow TNC, again, with the fact with how much we highlighted ONTUK PH, if TNC can even just take this game, that's already a massive statement.
See if they're able to pull it off here. We're jumping right into the Land of Dawn here. Last match of opening day for us for MPL Philippines at Season 15. Can TNC Pro Team do it and surprise us all against ONTUK Philippines?
Very aggro start at the center of the map by SUPERFRIENDS and Brusco, knowing that the Kali can bully the Gakka and Low Yi. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Brusco has not yet popped his region, but Yawi has. So that's a little bit of an edge that Brusco has.
And Brusco too, you know, for the most part, whenever he plays this Khalid, he's had some game winning, I would say, just set potential, even on the biggest stages. And that's something that TNC obviously has to worry about. And the fact that he can also take a lot of attention, Keller's taken a couple shots. Of course, that gold lane matchup, but here, bottom lane.
Oh, that's a quick rotation. Hope we can see it.
He has a vengeance at least.
Kirk
Okay.
survives the 2v1 and he does pop the vengeance, yes.
So across the map, we see ONTUK PH winning the gold lane while they lose the EXP lane. Not entirely so, but the first rotation at the least. In terms of the emblems, is that really a Master Assassin on Kirk?
It looks like it.
He just wants to be aggro up against that Hilda. That's crazy. That's a rare spot. That's a rare sight to see.
You know what surprised me more is with everything that's happened in mid and in bottom lane,
Yeah.
Kelro just chunked half of the gold shielding on the gold lane turret.
Yeah. If what
Big
happened,
money.
if what happened in the EXP lane wasn't a considerable win for TNC, definitely you could say at least for the first, maybe next 2-3 minion waves, Kelra is winning the gold lane.
Not only that, but he also with that Fury Hammer, right? So he's got that little extra penetration damage towards the Moscom. So wants to win those trades. He still looks like he's going for it too. Right now it's TNC to go ahead and start up this turtle though. Might be able to go ahead and secure this one.
Failed airstrike by SUPERFRIENDS, preemptively used. Kirk going into the back line. Zaida goes down. The Kirk attack draws first blood. Traded out for. Brusco popped as well. King Kong gets to work in on the turtle. Retribution still on point despite the man advantage for TNC. ONTUK takes it.
That was perfect
On,
positioning by
on.
ONTUK. A great use of the feathered airstrike from that area by SUPERFRIENDS. Caught TNC off guard. At the same time, the timing of them just jumping on Zaida, hounding him. The late entry of Kirk meant that the Suyo was just pressured.
You see that diversion play up here on the top side too. They missed it by a little bit. I mean, they were trying to possibly catch out Kelra on his rotate back up, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it. So things are going to reset. Brusco almost at level 4 available to him. While Yawi a little bit ahead. Feathered airstrike coming down already. Whoa.
Committing the flicker, so definitely the Monster Mage was looking for some blood. SOD thrown out by Kozin, just a preemptive measure. Let's go of the ult. And they're rotating up. It looks like they're trying to shut down Kelra's early advantage, but it's not going to happen.
Does that work?
Yeah, this is really tough because the rotation that TNC did at the center of the map was to sort of balance out Kozin losing the gold lane. But because SUPERFRIENDS got to pop him and he was forced to go back, they lost the gold lane even more. So at some point, TNC just needs to start allocating some resources to, with the turtle up there, I think try to get Kirk out of lane and then eventually help Moskov out more.
That's worth a flicker, gentlemen. I'll take that call like 4 out of 5 times. I would always flicker as the Farsa to
Shall
take
we?
Kozin down.
Yeah, just delay him a little bit further because you already saw the gap between the gold laners. What is it, about 1,000 plus at this point, and Kelra knows he's got that bit of an advantage. Brusco checking out the backside there, but he is going to get spotted out. He is just going to zoom on out, though, just fine.
Sandwalk is so dirty. You saw how much Zaida committed to trying to take down Brusco, and Brusco just says nope. Oh, Lord JM down bottom. The level gap.
Master Assassin.
Clean. There you go. This answers the question.
Yeah, there's definitely Master Assassin at work there. I was like wondering, where is the damage reduction on the, since he's under the turret? I was like, oh wait, all right, yeah, the CC has Master Assassin.
It's an assassin with a yo-yo, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That sounds terrifying. That is a mid-season anime villain that potentially might come back for the next.
Ooh. Brusco pushing back 3 members of TNC. In comes Lord JM. That's a 4-man presence from the Phoenix. And they pull the turtle slightly toward their side. Here comes Kelra and King Kong from the flank. Brusco, less than half health. The SOD thrown out by Kozin. sees that there are a lot of Sonics on that side of the map, and they do take the dance slow. Kirk down to a fifth of his health.
Good reset though by TNC Pro Team, and even ONIC, they decided to reset it. But now ONIC has spent a lot.
And they are going to commit the feathered airstrike. Blasted
Sorry.
Yowie. Pop the AOG. No one home. Brusco taken down by Lord JM. Death by Snoo Snoo.
Oh, Yowie on the run. He does go down, though. Super Prince gets that one.
The clap back by the Monster Mage. The Super Fan has her eyes on the turtle. Zyda retreats, and just like that, Kalra won't let him go. And the second turtle goes over to the world champions once more.
And now ONIC Philippines are continuing it. They want to invade. Let's see if they'll be able to get this orange buff. King Kong does have his retribution, but no, it's just forcing TSC to react and
The
watch.
beast is playing with his food and steals one away from Zyda.
ONIC Philippines. It's crazy because I was just about to say that was oh wait, bottom lane.
Kirk, that's three of them. Oh, he's not going to survive this one. Serving up a kill to Kozin.
Great job, at least finally, to get a response, because it looked like things were really tipping in favor of ONIC Philippines there. But at least TNC finds a kill now on the bottom side. They should be able to get some push there. But here's the response now from ONIC Philippines.
Yowie put down to less than half of his health. Brusco catches a few. The flicker raging sandstorm. Yowie down to a tenth of his health. JM looking for a kill. Brusco gets hit by a stray SOD. Double kill for Kozin. Super Prince bites it. AOG by Yowie. Might have been a little too risky. Backs off.
Overheat by ONIC Philippines, and TNC now with the counter, showing that they can dance with ONIC. It's not the cleanest, most dominating dance, but the Phoenix Army can fight and take it to the defending world and Philippine champions. We saw it in the last objective fight. We thought TNC would win it. ONIC PH got to recover. Now, off of a TNC recovery, ONIC PH tried to answer back, but again, they overextended. This could have been a great play, but they didn't take into account Lord JM's positioning, forcing them back. It's also a very good call by Kozin to toss the SOD, and at the same time for TNC to push forward and threaten, forcing the flicker from Kelra.
Yeah, great, just kind of scrappy fight from TNC, and I feel like that tends to be, what we see from TNC as a team a lot of the time. So if they want to go ahead and just kind of battle it.
All right.
So I would love to see the different factors.
Lord GM.
Is they carry through, like they finish through. I mean, this goes back to even traditional sports where like you could start strong but make sure you finish, and I feel like that has been the story for TNC as we head back into the game. Jumping in, we're 7 minutes in to catch you guys up here. Turtle is almost up. Last one, the third one of this game.
All the above mentioned is true, but just the same, looking at that mini-map, it's still blue, all right? And all the turtles went to ONIC despite the great start from TNC. So they can count their blessings, understand that that big play could still happen, but Joseph is right. They have to follow through, man.
Good wave manipulation up top, meaning it's taking a while for Kozin to show himself. It's going to rely on an SOD to land.
Turtle down to about half health.
Bisa gitu.
Early hits on the ults from ONIC Philippines, and Brusco jumps in. Yowie bites it. That's a man down. Lord JM is going to follow through. King Kong gets another. 3 players left for TNC, and off the cusp is Kozin farming off him.
Great execution there by ONIC Philippines. They, again, how many times have we seen this from ONIC when they have, is he going to steal it? Oh, too close for comfort, man.
Nope.
But yeah, TNC Pro Team are going to lose a purple buff here. Nice try there, Kozin. And yeah, good condition check. Super Prince landing the feathered airstrike hit, Brusco being in the right position to follow up, and everyone just collapsed at the same time. Great timing by ONIC PH. It was vintage ONIC.
Oh, and they're still collapsing down. Lancey survives with just a sliver of health. Kelra snipes him through from downtown. The AOG knocks up 2. Super Prince bitten down on, but Kelra gets the vengeance kill.
And this is part of it too. He just picked up a Sky Piercer, so now that Kelra goes and continues to build up, the shields are gonna pop. Even before this Lord comes into play here, about a minute away before it can get taken. So it almost feels like ONIC Philippines was like, yeah, TNC, you were a little scrappy. You might have had that little bit of a win, but even when it comes to the objective, we'll fight you guys, and we'll remind you who we are at this point.
Now I gotta glaze on ONIC PH because just watching them execute those fights, those sequences, it's just, literally, everyone knows what they have to do, where they need to be. How the heck did Kelra land that Death Sonata?
We didn't see the angle.
Yeah, I really thought that Zyda was at least blocking it, but Kelra somehow found an angle. I was like, nah, there's just right enough room where I'll be able to hit Lancy, and then it landed.
And that's why I love what Super Prince does when he picks up the Farsa here. Like, he is one of those players. I mean, more and more do it now, but he's been one of those players for the longest time when he picks up the Farsa. Like, he's so aggressive that he flickers forward, right?
He's done it twice this game.
He's done it twice this game, but he's done that so many times in the past, and it sets things up perfectly for those off angles.
That's a real moment, ladies and gentlemen, during the Infinix hand cam, where they took 3 down like it was nothing, trading out King Kong for 3 members of TNC. Lancy, Zyda, Yawi down. Lord J might follow through. One more for the Filipino Savage as Kelra takes down
Filipino
the last
Savage.
member, Sans Kozen from TNC.
He's still up in the heavens, the god of the gold lane, still proving that he lives up to that name. 6 kills, 0 deaths, 0 assists. He's just out for blood.
He was technically in the mid, but yes.
He's just still...
He's just a god.
He's a god at this point. A lot of us have seen it, especially on this Granger pick. And we're going to take a look at the replay. I mean, look at this. The collapse down. Lord JM was waiting in the winds, but it's just too late. I mean, even if he comes in, Brusco just heals up, and he's like, I got you in a way. Even though he goes down, but Kelro will land that last shot, the Destinata. Oh, all right.
They missed the money shot. Like,
Yeah,
right then and there was the point blank.
Getting provided vision, he does something with that vision. Whether it's Kirk, Brusco, either of those two, maybe even King Kong, a little bit too deep, a little bit too aggro. Kelra's always just there to go, nah, I got you. I'll make sure that if you go down, it won't be a waste.
We'll see if they can actually catch Kelro this time around or actually fight for this Lord here.
Down to a 5th of its health, now a 10th. King Kong knee deep.
Oh,
Zyda gets the steal. AOG by Yawi. In the thick of it, he does go down. Traded out for Super Prince. Looking for the punish. Kelra gets a double. Zyda running through.
Oh, no, Zyda.
Can Onyx Philippines stop him? He gets away with highway robbery.
A Lord, and they took Super Prince down to, and this will force Onyx PH to go back. Yawi Lord JM will be up just in time. Let's see if King Kong will be able to delay it. Now, in terms of how the movement is going right now, it seems like, oh, it might just be wasted. They won't be able to make the most out of this Lord TNC Pro team.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's something, it's something. What a steal, though, by Zyda. Gotta commend him.
Is this correct? The first Lord of the game.
Yeah, very first one.
Yep.
Go to the hands for TNC. So they won't be able to push with the Lord. Mid-tower, it will fall. So, okay, TNC Pro team will be able to get something out of here. Some semblance of a little bit more control now.
Yeah, so it's not a total waste to get that one. Again, it's a little bit of hope that they needed too. So that mid turret actually doesn't go down just yet.
Yikes.
As Onyx Philippines will go ahead and still kind of continue to clear things. I'm wondering too, how many stacks does Kelra have right now? He's 8-0. So what did that put him at? I think he picked up the Sky Piercer
At around 2 or 3.
around 2 or 3, maybe 4 kills.
All right.
Oh, hold on.
What's this?
Oh,
They collapse down on
Brusco.
Brusco. Did not expect for there to be that many Phoenix Army members in that bush.
And I think, are we going to get another diversion? No, we're not, but that is a great play by TNC Pro Team. At this point, that pick-off is so expensive for Onyx PH.
That's a great play from TNC, and they can actually continue to do this and build around it.
Are we just going to let go of the fact that Zyda stole a Lord? He was down 2 levels and he stole a Lord. What are the mechanics of this young man, formerly known as Mama Coco, when he was playing in the amateurs?
Dude, Onyx Philippines wants to fight this, though. They're actually going to drop down the Feathered Airstrike. I don't think they can catch him, though, but Kirk...
Wait, they're still going.
They're still going. Oh, goes in. Oh.
Kirk goes through the wall, jumps through, and yeah, TNC is...
Uh-oh,
TNC's
diversion.
real. Diversion going to the back line. Do they know?
Okay.
Super Prince throws out 1, a Death Sonata 2. They cancel.
Yeah, just like that, Onyx PH gets control of the map again. If you forgot who Zyda is, a back-to-back MDL champion, champion in MPL Season 13 champion with Team Liquid Philippines in their inaugural season. He was an MDL Season 2 Finals MVP and regular season MVP. For the longest time, though, touted as a double-edged sword, high-risk, high-reward type. That was high risk what he did trying to steal that Lord. Well, he got a high reward.
Definitely did, and so it might make Onyx Philippines also hesitant a little bit on this next one coming up in just a couple seconds. But this is where any lineup, any team that has the Loyi, can play around the macro presence, but look at this. ONTUK Philippines is going to go for themselves, trying to make a play.
Got a concealed play. Raging Sandstorm on a 3. SOD hits no one. Lancey's down. Bruce can turn it out for Zyda gets a kill. Look at the back line. King Kong takes down Kozin. The shutdown onto the Moskov. And Zyda cover tail, but Kelra shuts him down. You ain't going nowhere, son. 3 for 1. ONTUK back on the board.
What a scramble by these two, and at the end of it all,
Bisa
it's
gitu,
TNC
guys, ya.
Pro Team who's suddenly
Okay.
surprised.
Lord JM, he tried to get away, couldn't find a bush. Kelra gets him.
And
Damn,
now
damn.
TNC have to play from the back. Or will ONTUK actually just try to end with this lone minion wave against Agatas Gacha? Goes in and Lancey will be back in time.
It's an and angle. Literally Yaoi versus the world. They penetrate through mid. King Kong sent over to deal with the Lord alone. And ONTUK PH just going for insurance.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, this is a showcase that even so, ONTUK Philippines will find different ways to approach these team fights. I mean, think about it. They pop that conceal, they went around the corner, they cause some chaos against a lineup like this from TNC, and they end up still protecting Kelra. Like, looking at this replay, look at the positioning. Kelra's able to be okay, even though in between Lord JM and Kozin, and they still survive. So he joins this fight, pops off a couple shots, and catches Zyda here at the end. So with that, they get the Lord, they get that one turret, and now they get prepped and ready to approach the base of TNC.
We've always talked about how ONTUK PH, suddenly it feels like they're coming from, or at least Kelra, King Kong, Kirk, usually those three coming from all angles. That was literally the entire team coming from every direction possible in the game.
Oh, and at this point, once again, Brusco using that conceal ready. The turrets are going to go down. Still the top is up. That second tier finally falling. The Lord's cleared out, though, so TNC, can they stay in this game? Yaoi will go ahead and charge on up the Unbreakable. They're going to clear these waves. Another airstrike.
Reggie says the answer. Cancelled AOG, revitalized by Yaoi. Catches Brusco and Kirk. Vengeance already in the SOD. Kozin takes it point blank. Kelra takes down Yaoi. That's a man down for TNC. Finally, the last inhibitor falls. TNC just a bare base left.
Kirk actually got to block a really good SOD angle. Since Kirk blocked it, Kozin couldn't find the perfect gag angle for his ultimate.
King Kong catches a few beads from TNC. Pushed them out. Cleared. The Phoenix army lives on another day.
Okay, TNC will actually stay in the game despite losing all the turrets. Well,
Digas
they
ya,
still have
Digas.
some
Digas
fight in them.
dong.
Waves pushing up on top and bottom. Are they actually going to still go for the end angle here?
The Super Fam is relentless. They want to end it. Feathered airstrike by Super Prince. Look at the back line. Scrambled. Lancey trying to go up against the god in the gold lane. Kelra. The shot. Kozin comes in. The wind of nature. Not enough for Kelra to survive the shutdown.
Aduh, gila, malah
11 kills worth
digas.
of gold. Zyda taken out by King Kong. The
Malah
pressure
digas,
used.
kocak,
The
kocak.
current trade.
Aduh.
Lancey's down. Yaoi fighting for his life will not work
Aduh,
out.
pasti
3
malah
for
kalah
1.
lagi.
This is still an end angle. Lord Jamin and Kozin left.
They're going to have to keep it together here. It's only 2 versus the 4.
Kozin gets jumped in on by Brusco. Strike served up with a few salvos of Super Prince's feathered airstrike. The base still left
Fokusin
standing.
N aja,
There's
guys.
one siege minion.
Itu
The
berkat-
base is
berkat-
gonna fall. ONTUK Philippines takes game 1.
You can't
GG
count
gitu.
it out. The ONTUK Philippines is super fam. The world champs will take it game number 1. But man, what a performance though from Team.
This lineup puts a lot of pressure on the 3 players all together. The Matilda, the Alpha, and the Barracks together. They need to weave in and out and well.
See if they can weave it, make it work, take it to a game 3. That'd be something
shit,
that a lot of
the bull,
people
Ray.
might not expect from TNC. Can they make it happen here in game number 2 against ONTUK Philippines? And again, even with the setup, you know, it's funny how we were just talking about the Alpha, and now he comes through for Zyda here. This matchup too, the Alpha versus the Suyo, he's gonna have to make it work, but at least in this way, they have a ton of utility this time for TNC to go ahead and play around with, other than just the diversion.
Which I think is something we've failed to mention. The damage profile on TNC is so odd. If Kozin's not ready,
Yeah.
who's dealing the damage?
UNTUK.
Yaoi on the Matilda, maybe. And, you know, like, at that point, that's a good question to ask here on how they approach the game, especially in the early game, because of the fact, too, if Kozin ends up getting behind against this matchup, the Granger versus the Harith, he's going to have some trouble, and he's really going to have to rely on Yaoi to help him out, probably.
Yeah, again, a lot of pressure on the ones that we mentioned. Lansing really needs to be hitting those glaciers. And most importantly, the closest thing they have to the potential where's the damage coming from, the answer to it is it's Zyda. It has to be that Alpha. But then the Alpha will have to put himself in such dangerous situations with Sicilian that you won't be able to reach, a Granger you can't reach. Okay, let's take out the gold laner first. But just up against the other 4 heroes on the side of Onyx, that's a tough dance to dance for an Alpha.
Even against Kirk, who has like
Lord,
1 or 2 items, and once he presses the Primal Wrath, Alpha might even have to say, guiding wins, guiding wins.
Yeah, it's like Zyda might actually have to hold on to his Spear of Alpha, so he just has an option to out if in case he needs it.
Oh, look how fast his turtle's going here.
Ooh.
They actually contest.
TNC taking it clean. Zyda scores, looking to punish one. Super Prince bites it.
Good play. They get a turtle. They get a kill to go ahead and work around.
Oh.
King Kong just finding else on the map.
Yeah, he stole the orange buff, so that's a trade they decided to go for. They know that they lose against the level 4 of the Barretts in the first objective, so they decided, you know what, let's just get
They're ready, nearly ready to jump back. There it is. There's the signal.
Sant, do it, Sant!
There it is. Man, his form has really been refined since last season.
Bit of hesitation there at the beginning, though. He was second-guessing himself if it was time to go, but I'm glad he still got it down.
Okay, jumping back into the game again. If you're just joining us, that first turtle and first blood secured and taken by TNC. And, you know, not only do the factors they have this tons of utility with the Matilda pick, but they also are still able to go ahead and run with the 2 Purifies to help them with, you know, some of the CC that's going to be thrown at them with Onyx Philippines' lineup. They're rotating around.
All right, that's a little Wanderer score. Lord JM misses. The Dennis Welcome finds a missile expert.
Buset.
Though
King Kong, mati
wow,
dong.
down Zyda gets the kill, and there's nothing on the board for Onyx just yet. I was gonna say, isn't it ridiculous that the team who is facing against the CC of TNC or this lineup doesn't have Purify? Look at Onyx. No respect to the CC.
This is what I call athleticism, man. Like athletic flickers.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd win.
Yeah, that's like pure reaction. I think there's a
Skinnya
window of
lucu
time where you
juga,
can
guys, ya.
react to flickering away from the ultimate of the Aurora.
Skinnya
Similarly
lucu,
to the
skinnya,
Barretts,
guys.
although I think the Barretts would be a little bit harder to pull off.
Savior of Alpha.
Yeah.
Nice.
If Alpha is their biggest problem, though, that's the one. Like, if you're stuck in there, you're stuck.
I mean,
you cannot get out of it.
There's a lot of CC that I'm just thinking maybe Onyx could have respected a little more. But who am I to say? These are world champions, right? I'm just a dude staring at a screen screaming.
You're just a guy. At this point, though, too. Already early poke. This is what we expect, though, especially with the Sicilian. It's only going to get worse as the game goes on. But TNC is in a position to go ahead and try to just secure this second turtle. They might be able to just go ahead and grab it by zoning off Onyx, and it looks like that's going to happen. But look at this, too. As Zyda secures that, there's a wave cut up top. Kirk might have to get back. There's going to be a quick response.
First time it happened,
TNC.
King Kong stole an orange. Now he was forced to stay on his side of the map. So, yeah, deep cut by Kirk, but TNC can respond to it just as quickly. What's crazy is what gasps me, all right, is the fact that the gold lead ain't that big. How is TNC how is Onyx keeping it tight like
I like
this?
King Kong.
How many times have we asked this question about Onyx? Again, they just get resources somehow from minion waves, those little compounding steals of the jungle creeps, whether it's the lizards or the golems. That's just it.
And they're taking the first turn of the game.
They get that turret just like that, too.
What?
Again, it was all a timing thing there. You know, Kozin does get a start on the scythe here. They want to go ahead and trade. They're going to take this tier 1 on the bottom side. But that's the thing. It is a good thing to kind of keep attention to for Onyx Philippines. Even though it might look like, yeah, objectively they're losing this or they're losing that turtle, but they're still able to keep things even in terms of economy. And all the while, like we said, Super France is just going to be stacking up, doing his thing on the Sicilian.
Despite the Barretts also showing how much damage it would take, good emblem adjustments by Onyx Philippines. They actually are packing Ruptures on Super Prince and Kelra, so that's mainly really just to answer the Barretts. Other than that, TNC, at some point they're going to have to translate them winning objectives into more objectives. Get turrets down. Right now, the minion waves are weird, strangely enough, getting manipulated by Onyx PH. TNC have only traded the sides, but you'd think at some point they'd be able to get the mid lane if they play their cards right in this third turtle or on the first lord.
Oh, Kirk spotted by two. Zaman Force committed here by
buset,
Kozin.
Kirk.
Primal Rat by Kurt. Blasting away. In comes Super Prince.
Kirknya guys.
No one hit by the Frigid Glacier. Brusco backs off. The respect to the firepower of Onyx PH. Still, TNC happy with their kill.
Happy with their kill, but they might look for more. Brusco? Oh, not going to land the kick he was looking for in that angle. So that's 3 for 3 for Turtles for TNC here.
Wow, a great play right now by TNC. See, okay, one of the questions answered as to why Onyx have minimized the gap in the gold is that every time a sequence is about to happen around an objective, King Kong is somewhere else and he's farming, either clearing minion waves or stealing the jungles as we mentioned. Now TNC, we got what we asked for earlier, convert a turtle, a win, a fight, into an objective. They got the turret down, the second one in the bottom lane. So now TNC can be poised to, in this next Lord, I want to see them commit a 4-1 split, typically to how Onyx do it. Try to get that mid lane tower down, threaten the lower portion of the map, while you just play around the objective, try to bait out abilities, and then that's when Lord JM goes with the late usage of the Detonus Welcome.
This is very Filipino. Approaching the 8-minute mark and there's only 3 kills.
Yep.
It's very Filipino.
Bro, we are so back.
We're so back. You know what? But the thing that stands out here too is 2 big items being picked up for Onyx Philippines. That was the Sky Piercer last picked up for Kelra, and then the glowing one now for Super Prince. And that's going to help with some of that sustainability because, as I say it, there's the total healing done right now from the lineup for TNC. So, you know, if they take a couple shots from Super Prince, that's going to help, you know, bring that down a little bit. And that's why I'm saying TNC, it's great they have this control in this portion of the game, but hopefully they can continue on, get this Lord, and then transition to actually marching towards Onyx Philippines' base.
Look at King Kong escorting a chubby wave up top. I mean, if they knew exactly where Zyda was, maybe he would have committed, but they're taking it slow. They're working on the safe lane here that's closer to the Lord. So Onyx might be
Lord
thinking
GM, Lord GM.
With how TNC right now are formed up in the map. Okay, so they are doing what we said that they should, but what they gave up was actually control around the objective. Now Onyx are holding the priority shrubs for this Lord. They're forcing counter to react bottom. Oh! They caught Prince!
Oh! The jump in by TNC, and they're looking to find a vengeance kill onto Lord JM. Not gonna happen as TNC collapse onto this Lord at half health now. Yaoi pushing back the rest of Onyx Philippines, and that's the Phoenix Army scoring a major objective.
There you go, TNC. Lord JM's been on point. I mean, utilizing the flicker with the Daytona's Welcome to find those key pickoffs.
Feed him more.
Wow, I'm so glad that actually Lord JM got that because that's the opener they needed. Again, Onyx PH had the positional advantage. But whether it was Lord JM's call or TNC's call, let's just say it's a TNC call, to commit the flicker Detonus Welcome to catch Super Prince, it showed Onyx PH were so hesitant to even show themselves because even though the Detonus Welcome was gone, one of their biggest deterrents, their biggest tools in the team fight, the Sicilian was taken out.
Was taken out, and you know, at this point they'll go ahead and just try to clear things up, hold things together the best they can, just try to secure these buffs as well, but they're gonna have to deal with the Lord eventually. And so right now, TNC playing in their favor, playing in the momentum. They want to go ahead and march down at least the mid lane, get some of these shields popped if they can. Mid lane, adding wind, certainly Eagle used, but they get that turret down. Still trying to march in with this Lord. The goal is right now just those shields, honestly, for TNC at this point.
Holy Shields, I'd say, are minor objectives. Again, it confirmed the wave clear, and talking about wave clear, look how Kirk just commits the Primal Wrath. We need to get rid of this Lord ASAP.
Called there by Onyx PH. This will help them out in the defense. Poke damage not quite there just yet for Onyx Philippines.
Holy Shields up top!
So TNC Pro Team will be controlling
They got one.
the tempo. Yeah, that's one.
There's
they got,
about a minute and a half that they could use it.
they got two.
Oh yeah, they
Just one.
Begini, bayar Rp65.000 per
They got the Bottom one, right?
Bottom one.
Bottom up.
Yeah, bottom up.
Okay. Well, TNC, this is great for them still because they're continuing to build up on the lead that they have. But I'm just wondering, right, at some point, will this turn in favor of ONIC Philippines because if they just buy themselves, what, some time even into the next Lord or past that, we always know whenever a Sicilian is on a team, I mean, we saw this even back in M6, man, the amount of defenses based around this hero alone, the Sicilian, can win games.
They're taking time bomb.
There's the stacks right there.
So it's at 169, 170 something now.
Yeah.
Again, the double stack hero is currently, you know, biting ONIC in the behind.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Usually the main goal for Sicilians is to reach 210 or 211.
Yeah.
He'll be able to get there maybe at around 13 minutes. It won't take that long. But one of the main conditions also is that Super Friends needs to be on his third item. Once he's locked his third major item in, that's when TNC is going to start feeling, okay, this Sicilian is a problem. But up until that point, TNC will be in control comfortably as long as they don't mess something up.
And this is why still the amount of utility that TNC's lineup gives them is such an advantage. And it's funny because I was thinking when the game started, you know, for Lord JM that he would rely heavily on Guiding Wind to set things up, but he hasn't really needed it. He's just flickered a lot of them. So the fight for this Lord is going to break out. I'm wondering, will ONIC Philippines be able to contest this?
Ain't no dance here as TNC is fully
Kedua
committed.
guys,
Here
ya.
comes another as well with a flicker. Cancelled though, Lord JM still standing, but just barely. Summon Force sent in by Kozen. Lancey very low. Kirk taken down by Zyda in the back line. And this does delay the Lord
Brusco.
take, but they do bite one. No way, the Dragon by Brusco. Kick in, Lord JM in, but not gonna end the job. Zyda survives, no one taken by ONIC. Clean for TNC.
We talked about pressure onto Lord JM, Yawi, and Zyda to make the core of this lineup work. Screw pressure, they are making this work. Lord JM's decision-making to enter, Yawi being able to time the guiding winds to supplement the shields. He saved Zyda in that scenario, and Zyda is still deathless at 3-0-1.
I can't believe, even with a Sea Halberd, a glowing wand over here from ONIC Philippines, the sustainability, the healing was just too much for TNC to go ahead and just win those fights. We're going to take a look at the replay here in just a second as they get ready to march in. And this fight was great. Even that Zaman Force enough to help zone out a little bit. There's the kick from Brusco. And then a look at that. Again, utilizing the utility and heals that TNC has with this lineup.
Yeah, the raw sustain right now of the Barretts and Matilda together are holding down the front line of TNC Pro Team. And at the same time, Lancey has been on point with his follow-ups, dishing the crowd control that he needs to dish. What we talked about earlier in terms of Brusco's entries getting just checked by the Aurora, that's been happening. And it's not just actually Brusco's entries, it's ONIC, it's their entire entry that's getting dealt with.
It's not giving, is what the kids would say.
Yeah, it's not giving.
Feigned circling eagle there by Yawi, forcing response from ONIC. Tier
Oh,
3
King
taken
Kong.
down in mid. King Kong and the rest of ONIC just scrambling to protect what's left of their base. The Lord left standing. The rest of the waves, though, taken care of. ONIC lives another day.
Another update for Prince Watch. He just built up the Magic Lantern. Still going to be lacking in the damage department. They really need him on that third core item, and then that's when TNC is going to start feeling the pain. But will we even get there is the main question right now. Super Prince does have the most damage dealt, but once that number reaches like around 40K, that's when things have gone wrong for TNC.
Yeah. Oh, Lancey.
Oh, what?
Oh, drops in a frigid glacier. Kozen also commits his ult. Zaman Force underneath the tier 3, but ONIC ain't having any of it. Concealed play coming in, Brusco and Kirk. Frontliners for ONIC looking for some prey. Lets them go. TNC plays the conservative game, pressuring ONIC elsewhere.
That was really spicy, man. You know, from Lancey to go ahead and flicker forward for that. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to catch anyone from ONIC Philippines the way that he wanted to. But that is showcasing how confident TNC is feeling right now. You know, 6,000 gold ahead at this point. Mind you, when was the last time we saw ONIC Philippines without any kills up to this point in their previous winning games or even matches in general?
I can't remember. Yeah. This is even if this is a very Filipino game, I can't remember the last time ONIC was up against the ropes like this.
If they egg ONIC, that's a statement. We said TNC winning a game is already going to be a statement. if they take a game from ONIC wherein ONIC got no kills at all, no major objectives, no lord, no turtles, that's more than a statement. That's proof that you're ready for this season.
I would say they have finally served a dish. They've been cooking for a while, right?
Yeah.
If that happens here, again, it's not a series over just yet, but it would be great to get to a game number 3 in that sense for TNC.
If they end ONIC here, after this Lord, it would be a spicy meatball. Lord down to 3/5 of his health. Brusco playing with range. King Kong and Kirk in the wings with Super Prince trying to get some stacks. Amazing wave management by TNC. They're denying these stacks from Super Prince, which makes this dance all the more interesting. Oh, Brusco finds one, kicks Lord JM. They're gonna blast the dinosaur. He adds to the Prince place here. The Spear of Alpha taking down Brusco. He goes one man down from ONIC. TNC happy with that skirmish. They do send Lord JM back home.
Great Glacier there. Setting up, and again, it's been Brusco, and he's feeling that struggle on the toe now against this kind of lineup. That was a Divine Glaive also picked up now for Super Prince.
Third item.
It.
They gotta wait for this though still, but this should be a Lord for TNC.
Yeah, with Roamer gone, it's going to be tough for them to contest, but the defense right now actually should be great for ONIC Philippines. TNC will get this without a problem. Divine Glaive on Prince. Kelra is fully built as this Granger. If TNC can pull off this siege at that moment, that's it. If ONIC defends, that's going to be a shaky time for the Phoenix Army.
All right, it's one thing to counter blessings, but do note this is an enhanced Lord that will be crashing through mid. TNC, I think the play that's coming up next would be a surgical push through each inhibitor left, and then they might go for another. But yeah, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, it definitely is, because right now, you can see ONIC Philippines trying to scramble a little bit, you know, trying to cut some of the waves if they can, try to stall them out, but look at this heal, man, from Yawi with the Matilda, and this is why you guys mentioned in the draft, you're surprised Matilda was slept on for a little bit. Yawi, once again, leading the charge as this Lord comes into the mid lane.
Look at the damage on the Super Prince. That was just but a synchro vision from Kozen. Lord JM does not have a flicker, so ONIC will take care of that Lord, and the rest of the waves crashing through top and bottom.
They're going to lose their bottom tower, but they defended this as well as they could. They were able to push back TNC at a crucial moment, and they keep one inhibitor turret standing.
Can they keep it actually here still? It looks like they are. They're doing their own charge up, you know, for ONIC Philippines. They know that time is technically still on their side the further they can bring this game, but right now they really haven't had an answer to TNC. And even with that, you know, obviously it does get a little bit harder to get these stacks. He's at 290 now, working on that last item.
Yeah, that's good. One of the problems is Kozen's item build is fantastic. He went Bloodwing second to the last item, then Oracle as his final item, selling the boots. It's a barefoot Harith, but this will be a Harith that will just be packing shields non-stop paired up with a Matilda.
He chonky. Well, there is a Sea Halberd on Kelra, and there is the glowing wand on Cecilia, on Super Prince. But yeah, no, I think Prince needs his Holy Crystal first, and then we can start talking.
Once he gets there, that's 100%. Yeah, TNC has to be so careful here. If this goes the classic TNC fashion of them in control of a game, then they slip right there at the end. That's just heartbreaking, man.
Big sads.
Big sads.
Yeah. It will be, but it's almost.
Luar X sudah diamankan oleh Kelra ya.
Is somehow able to turn this game around too. That's actually going to be quite the miracle with how far behind they've been.
Rogue wave in mid. What?
Rogue wave. It's pushing. No, it's going to be cleared.
Yeah, it's like one tiny minion.
It took down mid tier 1, so in case ONIC somehow, I mean, they've done this before, finds an end angle for mid, that's less of a deterrent.
Minion waves right now being overwhelming for ONIC. They have really good wave clear. They have good base defense in terms of damage.
Oh, Prince picks up a Blood Wings. Insurance.
Yeah.
So he got blood. He still has a spot for one last item, I think, because he only had the
Elegant Gem.
The Elegant Gem,
He can sell it,
He'll
pick up
sell
a
it.
crystal,
Yeah.
and then Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, he's not going to full build that into COD at this point.
Yeah.
That's going to be a loss.
Yep.
He's going to be fine.
The damage profile on TNC, again, they've gone through that hurdle.
Yeah.
Oh, Yawi picking up the Holy Crystal here, so.
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay.
That's Yawi style right there, man.
Damage
Matilda.
Yeah, damage Matilda, but also to dish out more shielding as well. Good itemization across the board actually for TNC, but this Lord, whoever gets this might actually win the game.
That's right. Lord now reset here softly, fully now down to what? A fifth of its, 4/5 of its health. And King Kong and Kirk are blasting it.
Oh, they're gonna
Primal
blast it.
Wrath. Look at Lord JM trying to go for Prince and
They're just
Kelra.
going.
The kick by Brusco. They're distracting him. King Kong from underneath. TNC scores 1. Kirk flickers back. Circling Eagle lands. He gets popped by Super Prince. They trade 1 for 1.
Oh, from the back.
For mid.
Dulu.
Line. The spin. The split. Oh, no.
Bisa gitu. Walah, ini di comebackin sih guys.
Outside a standing, but just barely. Ladies and gentlemen, Onyx have done it again.
How did they do it? How, Renmar?
Maniac guys ya.
Maniac for King Kong!
And the Lord too!
They were split up. They committed in helping Lord JM.
Look at the camera. They can't believe they did it.
They can't believe it themselves.
Buset.
Oh, man.
Classic TNC fashion. They had the game, they had the win, and it slipped from their hands while Onyx has pulled magic out of their own hands as well.
Oh my goodness.
Ngeri ya
It was
guys ya.
so close.
The sweep. We could have sworn TNC were
Segampang
gonna make
itu
that
balikinnya,
three,
bro.
but the sweep by Onyx Philippines.
Oh, you can even see.
It looks more terrifying on paper.
You're not entirely sure as to what you're about to expect, even despite all that has been laid out for these two teams. But to answer all our questions, we're heading into game number 1 immediately. So let's see how this goes. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a very aggressive play for Aurora.
Very aggressive.
Khalid and Jushin.
Yeah, they're just really dominating the mid lane early on. I mean, they can afford to do so.
Wow.
The Jushin plus Renegade on the Khalids. Onyx really gonna have a hard time going up against these two.
Yeah, at the center of the map. That's one of the saving graces for Aurora. The fact that the Kali and the Jushin together will be able to outpoke and actually mess up the Gatot-Kacha. In terms of the emblems, all good. Although it is a Master Assassin for Domikite. Bargain Hunter Inspire still the go-to approach for all pirates so far.
Oh.
And Yue continuing to be a thorn in the neck of Onyx. I mean, we're not used to seeing Brusco and Super Prince at this point in the game having a hard time in the middle lane, but King Kong wants to go for the burst. Forces out Renegade's flicker.
Kalem dong Sir, kalem dong. Still menebak kapuasa hari ini. Apakah ada oseng mercon atau oseng-oseng kahdal? Adakah?
King Kong is known to immediately reach his level 15 in less than 10 minutes, 9 minutes?
9-minute mark.
Orang masa buset, beli dong.
It looks like he's gonna have a hard time, even if he has a Matilda by his side. With the way the mid duo of Aurora is playing, Onyx can't rotate that much faster. I mean, just look at this. Renegade and Yue zoning out 3 members of Onyx. Gonna catch Brusco once again, but this time Demon Kite's in the picture. Revitalize is there, but he's not gonna out-sustain the damage coming in from 4 members. Brusco got saved by the Monster Mage. A monster save for Super Prince.
And nothing
happened.
No one died.
Harap jelok banget.
But still Aurora.
Ya bang, salamin ya bang ya. Jangan lupa untuk join member bang. Katakan gitu bang.
First death of the game was the turtle, followed up by Renegade as the second. So, of course, typical Onyx strat, balance things out. If you lose one sequence, all right, they're going to be going to the objective. What else can we get? Just a good timing for them that Renegade was in that portion of the river, looking like he was trying to get some control on the upper quadrant of the map so that Dom and Kite can be saved from any potential ganks in his lane.
Yeah, but I mean, look at how Aurora's denying the rotations from Onyx Philippines. It's very unusual to see them being controlled by the opponents, them being limited by the opponents, to a point where I feel like Dom and Kite has been successful in controlling the lane against Kelra even.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of being frequent so far for Onyx to be on the backside, but wait a minute, Kelra though. Luckily, Brusco was there, Renegade a bit too deep, Super Prince as well, forcing out the flicker, but he's not gonna escape once again. Super Prince as he picks up another kill.
Kelra was almost brought down. He was down to like 10% health up top.
Yeah, if Renegade survived that, I don't know anymore. But now they are able to protect Kelra. So looking at the goal differences so far, it's not that significant. But Dom and Kite, oh, that was close.
I mean, imagine Renegade was up top too deep. At least he could pop the Purify of Kelra, but still unpopped. Oh. Meanwhile, Dominic used already his flicker, but here comes Aurora trying to work on Brusco AOG defensively. But again, no casualties. Nothing happened for Aurora.
You know how I was wondering, oh, where is Onyx going? Wait, let me ask that question later, okay? Because I feel like they're about to engage in another team fight.
Sandstorm gonna connect, but onto Brusco and Kelra has to walk away here. Another save coming in for the Super Prince. One more hit and gets burned down by a US. Super Prince might be the next target. And Aurora finally picks up 2, but here comes King Kong up against 3. He might have to walk away from that fight. And again, Aurora finally finds a trade.
Yue having a stellar game, good timing with the Lantern Flare and positioning. Him and Renegade have been on point right now with their rotations. Kurt in the red.
Oh no. Now we're seeing Kelra not being able to do the usual things he's able to do in his own lane. They're so focused on the gold lane, and it feels like Kelra's being limited so much, and this is another turtle that could fall into Aurora's hands.
Dom and Kite has been handling the lane very well, and Aurora have been timing their rotations to help Domeng to the point where now Dom and Kite has a one of the laning phase against Kelra.
Yep. So earlier we were thinking about how could Onyx potentially deal with all this? And it seems like the answer is yet to be solved as Aurora once again finds themselves in the top lane.
Okay, Kelra uses Zaman Force plus the Purify to evade Edward. Edward not committing any ultimates yet, but here comes counter attack. Might be for Onyx as they try to work on Renegade. Circling Eagle gonna connect, but Raging Sandstorm is there to evade a potential death, but they pick up Kirk, but a guiding wind once again for Super Prince. Again, no casualties.
Aurora just has really done a tremendous job of controlling the center of the map. Yue and Renegade again, they really set the tempo, and Demon Kite seems like he's just always been showing up at the right time. Meanwhile at the bottom,
all 3 ultimates used up by Onyx, but Demon Kite remains unscathed, unbothered. That's huge resources wasted, and now the counterattack coming in from Aurora. They're trying to work on Super Prince as he pops the Circling Eagle, just tried to walk away. Edward might be able to cast the Fist Break and Fist Crack, but they're gonna try and just invade the purple buff Onyx. Really relegated to their base at this point.
Yeah, Keller actually got taken down before the sequence in the bottom lane. Edward seems to have found him in the map, roaming out of the gold to find the resources and farm elsewhere. A good catch as well by Mr. Consistent. Aurora, they look, excuse my language, but they look pissed off with everything that has happened to them leading up to this moment. They're lost in the grand finals. The doubts in SPS and in M6. And they are shutting up the doubters.
Renegade follows up with the Raging Sandstorm, but King Kong's gonna evade that. Zaman Force coming in from Kelra. And still, Onyx, I mean, they're using up a lot of resources, a lot of battle spells from the initiations of one Fist Break, one Fist Crack alone from Edward. Meanwhile, Onyx is having a hard time as Aurora's lead balloons up to 5K.
And mind you, this has been a very low-scoring game. We've only seen 5 kills across the map in the past 6 minutes of the game, but it's gradually being controlled by Aurora MLBB. Onyx Philippines, we've seen them in a similar situation yesterday. They were clearly simply playing for the late game, but if you're looking at the late game, we haven't even seen Dom and Kite participate in any kills just yet. So even for Aurora, they also have a way to deal with the late game if ever it comes to that.
Dom and Kite has just been working on objectives. If you look at the map of Onyx, inhibitor left onto the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Aurora still has all their turrets intact, and now they're trying to look and take down this mid lane turret as Onyx desperately trying to defend. Look at Renegade. At any given moment, he can go in with the Raging Sandstorm. No flicker, but Brusco goes in with the AOG. This might be a counter-attack coming in from Onyx. Raging Sandstorm gonna connect. Edward, though, we're waiting for his combination, but Brusco will be able to sustain the damage coming in from Mr. Consistent. He's gonna bring down one. Now King Kong just trying to work on Renegade. Edward versus Kirk. Who's gonna fall down first? Renegade, Demon Kite down, but Ewan picks up a kill, forcing Onyx to retreat.
The Badang pick going so well for Aurora. Edward on point with the fist breaks and has been breaking the tempo of team fighting for Onyx.
And why do we see so much sustain from Aurora MLBB? Even when I would assume Onyx Philippines would also have the same level. There's a Matilda in their hands. But at the same time, the damage doesn't feel enough just yet for Onyx Philippines. Whenever they try to go in for an engage, there's a beautiful AOG. There's a beautiful Earth Shatter onward combo, But the follow-up
Combo,
doesn't seem to be enough just yet, not even when Super Prince is there.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about the lineup of ONIC is that they are very ulti-based, and their burst really comes mainly from the Nolan and the Harith. For Aurora, on the other hand, again, they're built for a longer, slow, front-to-back team fight with a marksman that can just freely hit. Just stand there, press button, you basic attack and deal damage. That's your job. And Aurora, again, they have the easier to pull off lineup. ONIC's lineup could have been terrifying to go up against, but since Aurora built up a lead very quick, we didn't get to see that point just yet.
Yeah, so how does ONIC get inside the Lord Pit? I do not think they will find a way to contest that objective.
Ajaran dulu bang gua kelas. Nitip doa ya Rama ya.
Looking at the gold lead, how rare is it to see a more than 5k gold lead against ONIC Philippines?
I mean, yeah, honestly, it's becoming more frequent. If you'd recall, against DLID, against SRG, and yesterday against TNC. But if you'd recall yesterday's game, you'd know that you can't just count out ONIC at any given moment because, you know, they can always turn the tide to their favor.
Good news for Aurora. It's going to take quite some time until they actually have to start worrying about that. When they're at around the, even when they're around the 40,000 and it's 35,000 for ONIC, they're still going to be okay. When it gets closer to the point where both teams are like around 50 to 45k, that's when they really have to worry about it. So Aurora, they've been sharp, they've been excellent. At this point, I don't see them messing this up.
Yeah. So let's see how ONIC Philippines deals with this. They have to focus their resources onto taking down the Lord, but they seem to be going for a fight.
Oh, AOG connects onto the middle. King Kong trying to find an angle onto Renegade as he used a quick sand guard. This might be an opening. Kirk goes in with an Earth Shatter Flicker combination, but Demon Guy bursts down Kirk. Here comes the attack onto Brusco, but a save again from Super Prince, and King Kong slaughters Demon Kite. A huge opening for ONIC Philippines.
That was close. Yue hasn't used the Lantern Flare, not until the last moments of the fight, or not until they knew that ONIC Philippines were going to be committed towards that fight. But even after all that, ONIC, they were still able to find their way to taking out Demon Kite.
Okay, so the comeback scenario has gotten a little bit closer for ONIC right now. Aurora needs to start respecting a little bit more, but still, at the end of the day, Aurora's Badang, the fist break of Edward, and what he can dish out has really been breaking the tempo of team fighting for ONIC. And it seems like that's just the idea here for Aurora. ONIC are so good with team fighting, pick up heroes in the lineup that can make sure that the team fighting won't go so easy for ONIC Philippines. I wonder if Renegade knows.
Oh my
If
goodness.
he's walking into an ONIC ambush.
Oh, he does. He knows.
Yeah.
The crowd has been
there?
screaming.
He's not gonna get baited.
3 items already locked in by both junglers. And in terms of the gold laner duel, Kelra is just down at around how much is that? Oh no, there's a considerable amount of gold. 2.2 and climbing is the lead of Domingard against the Harith.
Yeah, fortunately for ONIC Philippines, especially King Kong, given the low scoring game, he hasn't been taken out really. He's been consistent in taking the farmings, but you cannot deny the fact that Aurora has been very effective in denying King Kong of all that clean jungle paths. He is yet to achieve level 15 and we're already 12 minutes into the game. No more holy shields for our inhibitor turrets. So you know that ONIC has been pushed against the wall if they reach and if they encounter this kind of situation. So how are they going to fight against this Lord? Aurora positioned themselves around pretty well, and Renegade, you have to be wary of the angles where he comes from for the Raging Sandstorm.
This might be an all or nothing for ONIC. Will they be able to contest, or will they just let Aurora get this Lord uncontested as they secure the second Lord for the Northern Lights?
Yeah, good call for them to not fully contest it. Kelra does not have the Holy Crystal just yet. Only up to 2 items is the God of the Gold Lane, who so far right now has had to kneel to Domingkite, who's had a much better game individually, and of course with the great rotations of Renegade and US. What?
It was an off-cam kill!
King Kong finding ways to bring back ONIC in the game. Now Renegade on the chase. Will this delay be enough for ONIC as the Lord marching in onto the middle lane? Domingkite just really working on Super Prince. Kelra pops the Zaman, forced to be able to clear out the Lord and make quick work of that as Aurora already burst down.
Oh no.
The inhibitor turret of the mid lane.
Oh,
Renegade! Oh, here comes Edward though!
Should be down.
There's Edward. Oh, he won't make it out alive!
A shutdown for the man that found Demon Kite. And King Kong now, that might have in the end of it all, actually been really costly for Onyx because it's going to be 5v4, looking good for Aurora in this siege.
Yeah, and they have waves alongside them. Another Zapad Force forced out here from Keller. Will they be able to still defend this?
Oh, Raging Sandstorm onto Kellera as Brusco pops his AOG.
Oh my
onto
God!
Dominkai, popping his Revitalize to sustain the damage, but Yue just trying to poke on Super Friends. Still, they were able to save their inhibitor turret into the bottom lane, but the mid lane and top lane is now demolished.
Somehow, now that they've gained access to Dominkite, they're actually starting to show signs that they're able to dish out the necessary damage.
Yep. Already up to a Holy Crystal is the Harith, and I believe the damage onto Dominkite was just from the Gata, Kaja, and Harith. Maybe one of it could have been from the turret, but as it stands, Onyx should still be within reach of being able to win a team fight. However, for Aurora, again, they've just been excellent. Yue has been on point with his placement and disrupting the team fight of Onyx. Onyx is full dive. That's one thing we have to think about here. They are full dive against a lineup that are good with the front to back. If they mess up their entry and they're all approaching from one area, Yue, Edward, and the entirety of Aurora is happy. Dominkite will be the happiest. And since Aurora hasn't been giving a lot of openings for Onyx to approach from different angles when it comes to team fights, then Onyx are forced to fight honest in a lineup that's not supposed to be team fighting this way.
Yep. The targetings and the priorities for Onyx Philippines whenever they engage in a team fight will be very important for the upcoming minutes of the game. I don't know if we're breaking records today because we're already 15 minutes in and they seem to be defending it really well. But I'm pretty sure the next objective will be a very important one, especially for Onyx Philippines with a base already exposed.
I mean, honestly, one of the members who got pinned down because of the Jushin pick is mainly Kirk. He's having trouble finding the angles, finding the vision that he can provide from Onyx because of the constant Lantern flares coming in from Yue.
So let's see. It seems like Onyx should be a little more confident this time. It was previously mentioned they already have the Holy Crystal as well in Kelra's hands. Their battle spells are intact, but so is Aurora. They also have everything complete.
Yeah, Bloodwing's already up for this juice in. It's going to be even harder to take down Yue.
Okay, gonna commit the Circling Eagle. Renegade answers back with the Raging Sandstorm, gonna connect onto 3, forcing King Kong to walk away. Edward quite low, dangerously low, but still, Dominkite gets the Lord as they also bring down Renegade. Onyx shuts down the roam, but Aurora gets the Lord.
Okay, Onyx will not be able to chase down the members of Aurora. Good thing Aurora was able to get out of there right away and didn't even think about continuing to fight. Now they'll be able to push in with their Lord. Also unfortunate for Onyx Philippines, they actually could have taken down the mid turret if the minion wave in the mid lane wasn't stopped by a minion wave that was coming from the top. Since that was still there was no minion waves in mid, and Onyx PH couldn't force the push into the first turret in the mid lane.
Yep, but that was a very important sacrifice done by Renegade, blocking the path of all members of Onyx Philippines, just so they couldn't chase even after the members of Aurora, who, as you mentioned, were really, really low on HP and were nearly even taken out by the Lord itself. So let's see how Onyx defends this. They have enough resources in their hands, and we're yet to see Renegade catch up. So Aurora, will they still try to engage in a team fight? King Kong, he'll be shot by Renegade.
Okay, Fracture, gonna pop the quick sand guard to regen. Kirk flickers in with her chatters, gonna miss. But the beauty is Renegade and Edward doesn't have their flickers. So no flickers for the main initiators of Aurora. They can defend, again, the minion push of Aurora.
17 minutes in, and no turrets left for Onyx Philippines. But we're nearing the 50,000 gold mark for both of these teams. So it should be, or it should allow Onyx a little bit more room to operate.
Yeah, the major defensive items of both the mid laner and gold laner of Aurora are good. So it should be, again, even more difficult for Onyx. However, what we talked about earlier, if it's at this point of the game and it's still within around 5,000 gold, Onyx are still within reach. Aurora, Dominkite, his positioning now will be key. He just built the Wind of Nature. Kirk now has the Starlium Scythe. But what Kirk needs to do is start timing his entries with the Earth Shatter onward a little bit better. The last time where in the base we saw him use a flicker, that was forced. That should not have happened. The next time that flicker is up, Kirk has to make it count with his Edith combo.
Yeah, most of the surprises will be
KOL.
primarily coming in from Kirk at this point. Brusco could probably provide some follow-up, not unless or only if there is enough information
Buka
as
makan,
well
Bang,
as
yoi.
to where Aurora MLBB is, where the members are, so he could actually use a
Buka makan apa?
best possible
Tempe
avatar of
dong.
the Guardian.
Yeah.
But if not for Kirk, it seems really
Tempe
hard for Onyx to
dong.
find an initiation. Not unless King Kong gets another pickoff.
The game got to extend to the latest, and now it's just about who can execute this better. See, Onyx are actually really respecting the fact that UA, despite not having a lot of stacks just yet on the Sky Piercer, they're respecting it.
Oh, no.
They're gonna go right after Super Friends, gonna cast Circling Eagle, but they catch Galra! Salmon Force Purify is not gonna be enough to sustain the damage. Onyx though has to retreat, has to answer back. Two members are gone, Brusco also. And Aurora might not go for the Lord anymore. This could be an endable push for Aurora.
Hell of a play by Renegade, the concealment by Aurora. This could be it.
Okay, minions marching onto the bottom lane. 3 members left to defend. Minions spawn for Onyx right now. Will Aurora be able to end this right away? Turn pops his primal wrap, but that is it! Aurora finally takes down Onyx in a game!
With just a single decision.
Don't really need
Lalu
to
terus apa di-ban? Kenapa
purify
di-ban?
here,
Nggak di-ban dong.
because the follow-up won't be that instantaneous, and you need the distance from the Joy more than you do the anti-CC.
Alright. It seems like, will Aurora be able to ride on the momentum, or does Onyx Philippines, with their lineup, get to bring us to game number 3?
I mean, the last time we saw the chip, the first match, it was activated right on by JP. Every single time that they can have initiation, they're not going to be afraid to use the shortcut right on right away and force a clash. And this might be replicated by Onyx, but again, Aurora can just keep on getting the Nether Realm for you.
Yeah, Brave Smite was actually built up by Super Friends, and he's getting bursted down in mid. So his rotations are getting controlled.
Whoa.
Yeah, so far right now, Super Friends is just getting controlled in the series by Aurora. Even Kite. Oh!
What? He stayed too long! Paired up with the Queller of Demon Kite, Super Prince is gonna fall down.
Katanya di-ban 4 kalau
They
3
have their
pertandingan
own
lah.
battles.
Kocak gak dong?
Renegade, he's been so
Nggak
set on
mungkin.
poking Brusco. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, you and Super Prince, oh my goodness.
So far right now, it seems like Aurora has learned two of the biggest problems you have to deal with when you're going up against Onyx, the center of the map and the gold lane. And so far, they've answered both. Big damage onto the two roamers. Brusco almost brought down, and Renegade almost brought down as well. Man, Chip, say what you will about Chip, as crazy as you could get with that pick, he's not that hard of a tank. He is a soggy Chip.
Yeah, he always needs to eat his chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not crispy anymore.
It's not. So whenever you see him on his passive, you already know.
Yeah. At this point, Chip might be a one-trick pony, just really heavily
Aman ya,
reliant
guys, ya.
on the shortcut. And Aurora can easily work around that, especially if Yue consistently gets the Nether Realm. But again, that's still a huge first blood kill for Aurora up against Super Friends.
Bentaran doang
Let's
itu.
see. Aurora or Yue actually got the Nether Realm first, but they're all level 4 now.
Okay, Edward goes in with the Unleash the Beast up against 4 members.
Whoa.
King Kong secures the turtle. Here comes the
Good
Nether
save.
Realms of both of these teams. Renjay onto the back line, gonna
Good
get
Oh, wow.
Aura. There's no Purify. But still, Renjay stayed a bit too long, got caught up by 4 and will fall down.
That
King
was
Kong.
almost the perfect target, but everyone was running away.
Yeah, it wasn't the right timing for Aurora to fight it out, and Calra quickly gets back into the lane because of the shortcut.
Okay. Brusco not gonna commit it yet onto Demon Kite, but important to note that Kelra did use his Purify, so
Yeah.
still a good win for Onyx.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, after all of that, Calra just didn't panic. He was like, all right, I'll be chill. No one's going to be able to pick me off here. So good call. But right now, Renji and Domikite are forcing Brusco to get out of the river and are forcing him to help Kelra in the gold, and it stopped the recall that Sonata from Domikite just now, which means, again, say what you will, Domikite has been tremendous so far this series in the laning phase.
Yep. From mid lane, gold lane, Aurora MLBB taking hold of the advantage. They've been performing really exceptionally
Lah lu
well
LS Rama,
up
emang lu
against
pernah
their
LS?
opponents. So right now, Onyx Philippines are probably paying a bit more attention towards the gold lane. And fortunately for them, given the shortcuts here provided by Brusco, Kelra could probably be able to join in the team fights early on much more compared to the previous game. And he could potentially get a little bit more gold and farm alongside his teammates.
Malam-malam gue
So
LS.
let's see how they'll surprise Aurora.
Pernah LS juga kau Rama.
instead. Now
Gue
that
pikir gak pernah
it seems
LS.
like they can play around their positionings and rotations a lot more with this chip.
Honestly, the fear, my fear for Onyx rather is if they be a little bit overzealous and just keep on spamming the shortcut, trying to look for those isolated clashes that they really want, and will eventually win. And Aurora, if they play around to perfection, they can just make Brusco like non-existent.
Right, so Aurora will be able to get the second turtle here. Get into position first, but Brusco does have that shortcut, but no Onyx are all here.
Okay. US still hasn't popped his Nether Realm. A kick
Tapi
coming on,
berhasil
and here
di
comes
menit.
Kirk with an AOG, gonna connect onto the
Buset,
backline.
King
Nether Realm has been
Kong.
popped, and
Bisa
Kirk,
gitu,
King Kong
Rama.
will secure once again the turtle. Edward with the unleash the Bisa, trying to work on Super Prince, forcing out the Brusco's flicker as well as Kirk trying to zone out Aurora. King Kong, look at his position. They might go for an engage, but Aurora says we have to walk back.
Yeah, that was a great play from King Kong, I feel. The way he was able to surprise Aurora MLBB, forcing Red and J to use the Way of the Dragon away instead of as a setup. So now they regain control over the objective, and
Oh, sandwich play. This time gonna connect onto Kite. A much needed kill for Onyx as Edward goes in right after.
He'll get
Three
caught.
gets tunned down and get caught. Edward has to retreat, and Onyx, this is the Onyx we know. The aggressive type Onyx that can easily take control of the game.
Yeah, now with a much better and more competitive draft against Aurora. Seems like the chip question was answered this time around. It's Onyx having a much better time.
Shortcut play, but this
Wow.
time to get the turret up top. Onyx making quick work of everything that they see, but this time we're so used to King Kong. Wait, Ren and J trying to poke out Brusco and Super Friends, gonna commit the flicker Way of the Dragon, and this time bursts down Super Friends. A huge play for Aurora.
Yeah, got Super Friends with his pants down, didn't have the flicker available for him. And now Aurora. I've said that so many times, and you guys are the first to actually laugh at it, you know?
Because we appreciate good humor.
No, and it's not just that, it's like, all right, cool.
no, it's because
You guys are young.
yeah,
I'm
we're
old.
young.
no, it's the first time I heard of it. So
Really? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they got Super Friends, and that's the analysis. Back to you.
I won't repeat whatever he said, but
Brusco!
Oh, two Nether Realms gonna be casted for both of these teams. Who's gonna fall down first? King Kong working on Ryder J.
Go!
Ryder J managed to stay alive, but Jit couldn't do. Edward caught up in the middle, brings Kirk to the side of Aurora. He's stuck. He uses the AOG to walk away. No casualties once again, but action is non-stop. Now they're trying to work on Edward. Not gonna use the Shadow Stampede to pull him further as Aurora will secure this turtle.
I think he was actually trying to pull him, but Edward got into the part of the wall where it was too chunky.
Okay, a Retribution battle. This time Demon Kite secures it, but Kelra picks off Demon Kite, forcing Aurora to retreat, and another win for Onyx Philippines.
Aurora now going to get pushed back with that other win and starting to compound for Onyx Philippines. Now they are a little bit more in a better spot to invade the jungle of Demon Kite.
yeah.
And they will be able to take his purple buff away from him.
Yeah. Imagine being Kirk and forcing out all the ultimates just to use the AOG to run away. But fortunately, again, for Aurora, they were still at an advantage and they were immediately able to transition into taking the objective. So it does still seem like the game is under control for Aurora despite the slight lead in Onyx's hands. They're also able to find a way to respond. Like, they're not always taken by surprise, even despite the countless shortcuts, the countless teleports coming in from Onyx Philippines.
Speaking of countless, here comes a countless conceal or another conceal. for the side of Aurora as they tried to take down the orange buff away from King Kong.
I had to ask myself, what's a countless conceal?
No, it's another conceal,
And
sorry.
now it's another conceal. I'm wondering, it's like, whoa, is that a new term? Am I getting too old? Is that a new term I'm just not familiar with?
I'm Gen Z, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize.
Am I Gen Z?
No, you're
I actually
not.
don't know.
Me neither.
Maybe you're millennial.
You're Ingan. So, by the way, Demon Kite already has a War Axe. So
Berarti
that
tandanya
puts him
temen lu
into
poke.
his second item only, while King Kong, since he is going to be going for the Holy Crystal, still on the way to that. He does have a 600 gold lead, though, compared to Suyo.
And this is, again, a very low-scoring game. 8 minutes in, we've only seen 5 kills across the map. So we see how carefully they decide to go with their decisions. And ONIC Philippines on the lookout for all of the possible trades for them to maximize or increase the lead and control that is in their hands. But the Lord will be spawning on the opposite side of the map. Renji will spot out Brusco. So
I mean,
let's see who gets the position first.
even if it's a low, UA gets the Y walk. Even if it's a low kill score for it, I mean, the action's non-stop. So the credit really goes to the mid laners, Super Prince and UA, for delivering the Nether Realms right on time, saving the damage dealers of their respective teams. But this time, UA picks up the Y walk, so we could see them try to go for another conceal play. Renjay starts things off, gets the vision that they need up against ONIC.
Okay, so traditional 4-1 split forces Demon Kite to go up top to handle that minion wave, while King Kong will be here. Are they going to try to force something? King Kong needs to get his orange buff first. So we're going to live or die by the team fight. That's the next big thing that we're looking for here.
Aren't you used to it? I mean, this is the Philippines.
Oh my goodness, Demon Kite and Renegade look scary up top.
Yeah, I mean, if people who are incredibly attractive are very Latina, this scoreline is very Filipino.
This entire game.
I should cast with you guys more. You guys laugh at my jokes more.
Yeah.
Remember, you're on fire. I swear, even during match number 1, you were spurting jokes.
No, even in
left
match
and right.
number 2, I was laughing.
That's because we love you, Remy.
Yeah.
Don't make me cry.
Okay,
I won't.
maybe later.
But Aurora.
That sounded terrifying. Please don't.
No.
Maybe later. What? Maybe later. What?
Tears of joy. I mean.
Alright, okay, good spot right now for these two. Although the Joy is not here, Aurora has a numbers advantage.
Again, you is still holding on to that Y walk. If the moment you see Renegade just connect with Jeet Kundo and Way of the Dragon combination, they can go all in with the Y walk that UA has. But again, Super Prince has the advantage with the Nether Realm, so ONIC still.
Yang left udah mulai bang, yoi
So
bang.
they kind of position themselves too. The death
Menunggu sih bang.
connect. Oh, okay, there goes Kirk.
Okay, Kirk onto the back line with an AOG, gonna connect, but the Nether
belum
Realm
main,
is
bang.
just too much for ONIC as they burst
Belum
down
main.
Demon Kite right on time. The objective will fall in the hands of the king of the jungle, sending Aurora flying
Belum
home.
main bang.
Wow! Kelra, you are a god!
They still got him, and with a bit of
Belum main
divine
bang Yud.
intervention,
Nanti kalau udah main
the
gasin dah.
gods have found a way to crack this game open as Demon Kite was knocked up by the Lord, knocked up by the AOG, and caught by the chip.
That was the perfect timing for ONIC Philippines. They engaged in a team fight where UA was unable to secure an ultimate away from ONIC Philippines, not even the Nether Realm.
Tenang, bang.
So
Lu
even
pantau
when
juga,
we
bang.
thought
Kalem.
that Kirk might have been the first to fall, that was enough time. The Nether Realm immediately followed, and Aurora, that was the moment they were taken
Aurora.
by surprise. And now they are the ones who will have to defend against ONIC Philippines.
AOG again detonates onto the top lane to zone out the members of Aurora. Renegade triple man knockup, gonna connect onto Super Prince as King Kong works on the back line. Demon Guy desperately trying to save Yue, and Edward picks up a kill onto Super Prince. King Kong exchange him. Renegade and Edward will pull down another shortcut coming in from Brusco. The Lord marching onto the top lane. 5 members of ONIC are still here. Here comes King Kong. Here comes Kilro. A mega kill for the god in the gold lane. UA left alone to defend it. ONIC wants to go to game 3.
Even that last minute, why walk?
Why
Here
walk?
goes the Revitalize. You previously mentioned both rowers have their hands on it. But for our gold
Why
laners
walk?
here, it's Kelra who decides that he wants to still pick up the Purify. Nonetheless, going up against Going up against Aurora MLB. So this is it. This is game number 3. Who among these two teams will take the win in this star match?
Grand Finals rematch. What can you expect but a game number 3? Winner takes all. And right now I just have to ask, is Hylos honestly a
Belum
viable
draft bang, nanti kalau udah draft kita ganti ya Dis ya.
By the way, and yeah, Hylos Rome is definitely a thing, considering that I think both of them decided to go for Revitalize in the center of the map to supplement their mid laners a little bit more. Oh,
wait, Dom is so low.
Yeah.
That's a quick rotation coming in from Brusco too, by the way.
We're going to have to see how Kirk will be handling it. It seems like Edward will be behind in terms of the rotation.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy with the emblems as we saw it. So we might be waiting up until the first turtle to see some action happen. But all throughout the map, no little things that'll eventually compound into a big thing in terms of the minion wave manipulation. But Kirk is getting out of lane more frequently compared to the Edith.
Yeah, and Demon Kite's probably still taking his time. In the meantime, farming, and not unless he is accompanied by his other members too. Although you really would want to play aggressively in the early game as much as possible with this lineup. But it seems like all routes are being closed or watched by Onyx Philippines right here.
They're putting a lot of pressure onto Aurora, especially onto the river. And again, the mobility that Kirk has clearly is working wonders for them. Just Aurora is out of position for the very first turtle
draft.
Edward's already level 4. Kirk has to go to the minions first. This might actually be good for Aurora.
Smart Omega for a while, and you've been part of the Brungai. Setting that tempo is always really, you know, they've been known for having specific timers from season to season to season. Well, what is that tempo? What is that time for them starting here for S15? That's what we're about to find out. Going through the first bans, though, nothing too crazy. The Matilda is going to be taken out here. Phobius, Harith, and there it is. Lu Yi, Fanny, and of course the Jushin. This leaves open some prominent first picks that we've seen before. Do they actually prioritize a Granger here, or what are we thinking they go for first priority?
I'm looking for the jungles. Oh, yes. So it's going to be the Joy for Andorio. So that leaves Falcon able to pick up the Suyo for later. Because for now, I'm looking at the Granger, which you've previously mentioned, for Bulletproof Marco. And possibly another power pick in the EXP lane. But they took out the Phobius. So at this point, if they still want to be flexible, though, there's the... I'd say it's too early for the CC2. So probably a Mage, since they've been so focused on taking out some of Okir's heroes. Which reminds me, one of Okir's heroes signature heroes used to be the Faramis, right? But oh, they pick up the Suyo immediately and the Granger.
Okay. I mean, it's safe. You know, the Suyo, they just want to go ahead and pick it up. It's a classic matchup, too, that we often see on the Joy and the Suyo. And then, of course, Granger is just a safe bet.
Does Coach Trevor know something from Smart Omega off season? Here's just me. I'm just thinking. Might be a little crazy here, but what if there is a pocket mid Joy?
Pocket mid Joy?
But
that they're afraid of. Yeah.
And they immediately show the Selena too. So...
Never mind. That already ends.
I was trying to consider of whether or not Chaknu would be using the Selena, but knowing Smart Omega and based on the first 3 picks which they showed us, it seems like they've revealed a lot of the magic or damage sources from their lineup already. So for Falcons, would they want to pick up their mid laner here too for Few, or just leave it for later since Few is one of the most flexible heroes as well? So they just go for the Badang. Oh, right. Badang has been quite unnoticed for the first 2 days, actually.
He was picked up a couple times, I think. I mean, the utility of just, what is it, a fist crack?
But not as prioritized as before,
it's not as prioritized, but like just the utility that he brings to team fights is really good.
Edward played one hell of a Badang last night. So.
Yeah.
So now, what would you... I think twice about picking up a mid laner here who just like stands still while using or casting its ultimate.
So no Vexana?
So yeah, probably, or even the Farsa Eve, but the range looks really good for Team Falcons here. Like it complements well with the Granger with the amount of poke.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of possibilities if it's in terms of counter engage, but that Valentina ban right there. What could Chaknu be planning?
Mas
to
Eko
use
ngapain Mas
if they're,
Eko?
like, taking out the Valentina from this
Anjir Mas
point.
Eko.
So, could he be
Mirip tipis
possibly?
lah.
I almost see him just going like maybe a Tig.
Yeah,
or
the
something like that.
Tigreal.
Unless his okay, they go with Hitler man.
But if it's like Chaknu months before, it was mostly. I think he was mostly using the Cho or the Grok.
Cho Grok.
There's still Hylos too.
You want to
up
go
for the
deep?
board.
Kufra's still out there.
Oh, wait,
whoa.
wait.
Apa ini guys?
Oh, by the way,
Hey.
the collab. The collab, yes.
collab.
So we'll be seeing that soon.
The same.
He was the same one from last season. by the
Correct. I
way.
was gonna say he came back. He bought tickets again.
He did.
So,
He's back here to see the action.
okay.
I think he's part of the Brungai, by the way. I think, right? Is he on the Brungai side?
I think he's on Fal.
He's
Where
part
was
of the
he?
nest. He was part of the nest.
He
Part of
just
the nest.
disappeared.
Last ban here for Smart Omega. It's probably still going to be focusing down on fuse options.
Oh,
Whoa, okay, they
wow.
take out the Jawhead instead.
Yeah, no Selena Jawhead matchup
Yeah.
for us, I guess. Ogwen probably will be using the. Would they want to secure a winning matchup immediately here on the XP or add a little bit of crowd control? AOE, since they might be needing a bit more of that. Also to serve as a front here for both Super Marco and provide the openings for Kyle TZ. There's no Gatot anymore. The Lucas is still there if you want to fight their lineup head on. Oh,
Okay.
they pick up the Farsa even against this lineup.
Yeah, I think in a way it's just, again, you lock in something for few here. It covers ground really well. Even if you, let's say someone gets hit by an arrow, just taking a warning shot with a feathered airstrike is going to be good enough to kind of keep them at bay. But it's also a lot of early damage,
Yeah,
and that's one of the things they have to consider here, especially with a Joy across from them. That's the only thing, though, right, too, is like, and I think that's why the Badang kind of fits into this. You can help, obviously, bring that
Yeah.
utility, but there it is. This is that tankier pick that we were looking for Smart Omega,
Yeah.
too. The Edith is now up.
So they went for the range here for Team Falcons, and
It's a high
Chaknu will be going with the high loss instead. It isn't entirely new to us, but it seems like a very straightforward kind of approach for Smart Omega, given the heroes that they decided to field in this game. So for Ogwen here, he might want to pick, or for Flap
Ogwen
TZ
ngapain
actually.
Ogwen guys?
Yeah, we don't know.
Oh,
And now we do.
oh wait, so it is going to be
XP
XP Badang.
That's nice.
Hmm.
I mean, it was a flex.
Hey,
Maybe to
grill,
see what
guys, yeah.
obviously popped up there too. So they get the Tigreal to go ahead and help round this lineup, and yeah, Badang in the XP lane.
It seems like it'll be a very aggressive early game for both of these teams. It reminds me of how Smart Omega tends to really go for the first blood all the time back in the previous season. But Team Falcons with their lineup, they just seem ready to fight against that.
But Big J isn't as readily quick as Super Marco. So Super Marco definitely needs to take advantage of that, especially with the range.
Yeah. He's got the range that he can work with, but taking a look at the lineups one last time before we jump into game one here, you guys can go ahead and decide, too, which team has the stronger draft here. Is it Smart Omega or is it Falcons leading?
Welcome to Mobile
Gede banget.
Match for day 3.
Gede banget ya guys ya.
S15, and the first time that we're going to actually get to see Smart Omega play, and this is the draft they bring to this game one. And with that, too, again, we know that they can play around with this mobility. Like, anytime you see Joy in the jungle, you're going to be working around with the mobility, and you top off that by having that Hylos there to help kind of slow down the opposing team. But you just have to watch out for the amount of crowd control from Falcons here.
You would really want to be as aggressive as you can, especially as Ukir here. But one common trend we've been seeing in the previous games as well is just how teams up against the Selena just try to make sure that they gain control of the mid lane. Their mid duos tend to be more aggressive, but now that the Tigreal is in Team Falcon's hands, so they kind of probably could play around that a little bit more. It's the hit or miss concept of the Selena that they really have to take into consideration.
Hit or
for the game.
miss.
And looking at the emblems here, too, you know, the Flap TZ running with a hybrid as well, you know, just helping them on this Badang. And I know there's a couple different versions of Badang, XP lane, and even that roam version. So, oh, hold on. Whoa, Chaknu.
Early revitalize on a Chaknu. Gets hit with a retribution. Slow down. Is there enough damage? Yes, there is. KYLTZ draws first blood.
That abyssal trap didn't even hit. That was some sort of wave, but this is what we're expecting from Team Falcons. Once you deny that snowball, that early threat of those quick rotations coming from Smart Omega, which we aren't really seeing right now since it seems like Ukir is trapped here in his lane. It's one of the biggest threats you could have as a Selena. Like, if you're not able to rotate and be a huge threat using those random abyssal arrows from different angles.
Okay, Lewis comes down to the mid, gets that level 4. They're going to go ahead and start up this fight for the first turtle. Falcons will get in position 2. They've got what they need.
Looking like they're taking it slow as Few catches an arrow. That's a man down for Team Falcons, but KYLTZ finesses a retribution, the implosion by Ogwin, and Doryu bites it. Ogwin gets a kill. Big knockup. Lewis barely standing, gets hit with a fist crack and a fist break. And now Chapman, the only one left. The surge and the finishing touch, the flourish by Kyle.
Ukir's left alone here. Will he still go for those 3 members?
Ogwin knocking them out, serving up a triple to KYLTZ.
I'm not sure, you know, if that, the concept, the idea there from Ukir was like, I want to get one, but unfortunately ends up giving another kill over to KYLTZ. Talk about it, early game power spike already for Asuyo, 4-0-1. Oh.
Yeah, and everyone there were grouped together. So even when that single abyssal arrow connected onto a great target, speaking of another target, that's Few.
Whoa.
Purify already spent up, serving up a kill. Ukir goes, Chaknu, Glorious Pathway defensively used. That is a 1-for-1.
Oh, 2 immediate Hunter strikes picked up for Super Marco and KYLTZ. We haven't even paid much attention to the gold lane, but given all the action that was happening towards the opposite side of the map, it seems like Super Marco was able to gain a really good control of his own lane. He's ahead by almost 1,000 up against Jome. This is not looking so good, but at the same time, something we'd probably expect from Smart Omega in the early game.
I mean, that's, you know, I know you like to play Suyo, Leo. That's every jungler's golden dream, if you will, because it's golden month, right? You get 5-0 right now on a Suyo. You got the Hunter strike this early.
I did this earlier today.
You did.
It feels great.
I was there.
It feels great. Oh, Flapneasy catches one. Serving up a kill for Few. Nice pick off for Falcons as Omega is left reeling. Again, Falcons drafted a lineup that goes online much earlier. I didn't expect it to happen on the other side of the map.
It's funny because Brigida mentioned this before into the game. Like, both lineups look like they want to start aggressively, and it was just Falcons that started the flight earlier in this game 1. Garnering nearly a 4,000 gold lead at 4.5 minutes in. This turtle should be theirs, but it looks like Smart Omega actually wants to contest it.
Glorious Pathway by Chapnu. Deterring any retreat from Falcons. Turtle falls, KYLTZ gets an extra shield, slays it, 100% 2 for 2 so far. Feather strike by Few. Look at the back line, and Doryu trying to find idle among kids as Chapnu tries to deter any more retreats once more. Flapneasy gets one. Lewis served up a kill, and now Super Marco blasting away. Sever from KYLTZ. Now the Primal Wrath, and Super Marco slays the wild Centaur man as they walk away with more kills still on the board. 4,000 gold ahead.
That team fight was long enough for Super Marco to make it.
Yeah.
And he was able to get that kill, which could just probably add up to the way he's currently leading in terms of gold. He's the highest earning man in this game so far, and that isn't looking so good. If he gets the Sky Piercer immediately at this point of the game, then the range will be a huge threat here for Smart Omega.
Asking you shall receive.
Asking you shall receive. He's already got it locked in, so, you know, that's why he wants to be joining these fights when he can. But I was also impressed with the fact that even despite that deficit before that turtle started up, that Smart Omega was actually able to go ahead and duke it out for that fight and last that long. You know, the only downside, and I know the Selenas have been popping up a lot now, and it's like you throw out the arrows, if they don't land, it's unfortunate because, you know, you kind of have to wait for the next cooldown to be up before you can actually do much in a team fight kind of objective there. We're not going to land that.
Okay. Well, I mean, the lineup here for Smart Omega, the concept of like having Chaknu constantly gather information or constantly be in the faces of Falcons actually increases the chances of those abyssal arrows connecting, right? And actually finding ways to start the team fights for Smart Omega. But as we've previously mentioned, it isn't like they actually spot out members from Falcons alone. It's always that they're grouped together or paired up, similar to what we're seeing across the map right now. And even when they decide to go in, it doesn't feel like their damage is enough. The fights always get split up, and even when they go for their targets, oh, it just doesn't work!
Chom gets taken out off camera as Kyle Teasy and a few alongside Ogwin dodge a quick pincer attack. Super Marco retaliates. Lewis taken down. Chatting down to half health. Backs off. That was a gank that I think Omega wanted to take for themselves, but Falcons instead finds them in a trap.
They went that position for the sandwich play, and then it just kind of backfired on them. Again, you have to take in consideration just how far ahead, you know, items and gold-wise Falcons are. So even though that might have worked in their favor, ultimately it just backfires.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that it was Jome which fell first for Smart Omega.
Good, ready for a fight. Flicker implosion coming in from the Master. The answer, the Feather Air Strike. Glorious Pathway set in by Chaknu. Marco shut down by Andorio, though too much of the electrical beats. And Chom gets taken out by the ultimate combo of the Filipino cannon. 2-for-1 the trade.
How do you dance around the members of Falcons Esports if you were Jome? You would want to go with your heavy crossbow, just run around and damage their members, but you'd have to take into consideration the burst coming in from Few at this point, that well-reserved and timed implosion plays from Ogwin, and the disruption from Flapteezy. It worked so well for Falcons Esports now that they're able to group up so early.
That's why I like the, but you know, and I've been a fan of Badang before he started fitting in this meta, but you're going to take a look here at the replay, and great implosion here too, but watch Flap. Like, this usage of the Badang stops that tempo. It breaks the tempo that Smart Omega was trying to build, and that's why Badang fits so well in this current meta, because he's able to do that, and that's the utility that he brings. I mean, obviously, even when you build him like this, right, he's pretty much tanky, but it's mainly for those abilities to go ahead and get the fist crack in, get the ultimate down, and everything else. So very great usage of the utility this hero brings to these team fights.
Oh my god, look at this. No regard for self-preservation. Kyle Teasy goes straight for the BOD. He doesn't care. Nope, I don't want Winter Crown. I just want to kill.
Yeah, it's actually just Flap, which is kind of tanky right now.
Whoa. They get one in. Plus the snipe from Super Marco from downtown. Chaknu falls.
That was just well lined up right there, you know?
Yeah.
And it keeps happening. Andorra, I'm not sure, again, if you want to really be in two kind of risky positions, but maybe if you're Smart Omega, this is just kind of what it results to, Brig.
Yeah, you can't just go in if you were Smart Omega, even if you were Andoryu. Few also has the Blood Wings already, so he will probably have higher chances of being able to escape or even use the Wings by Wings to get away from all those attempts from Andoryu. And if it weren't Andoryu, earlier we've seen this scenario where Jome actually tried to just dish out the damage, but aside from the fact that it still wasn't enough, the fist crack, the fist break, they were all reserved from him. So amidst all the chaos, Flap was just able to make sure that Jome was someone they were able to pin down. So things aren't becoming that easy for Smart Omega, especially as now first objective went into the hand of Falcons, and it doesn't seem like they'll be letting any outer Earth stay after this.
Yeah, this is tough too, because if you're looking at the lineup for Smart Omega, like, you need quite a bit of time for them to actually get online, especially for this Irithyll. You know, again, Ukir is only really able to land off the shots, but then you can't really follow up even if you get an Abyssal Arrow off just because of how far behind you are. So these turrets are going to be made quick work of while they wait for that Lord to approach from the bottom side, but they're just going to go in.
They pop the Holy Shield, ushering in one small siege minion, and top lane as well. We'll see a crash on the wave. Smart Omega doing their darndest to quell Falcon's push.
Yep, Andoryu just will really try to minimize the amount of waves that will be coming in, but we can't deny the fact there's a concealed play as well from Master Ogwin. They could threaten away Smart Omega. I cannot see the tempo setting come in from Smart Omega.
Few pulls out the Feathered Airstrike, pushing in bottom lane inhibitor. That's just the top lane left for Smart Omega, and they're doing their best. They are holding on. They can't even leave their base.
They can't leave the base. 11 minutes in. 12,000 ahead. Just a very one-sided game one here for Falcons so far, with the Barangay just kind of trying to figure out what can we do. They've resulted in throwing Andoryu all over the map, trying to cut waves, steal, but his team
Andorio, they need you! The flicker and the onward from Lewis might not work out. Okir falls first. Lewis follows up next. Chaknu down as well. It's a double for Kyle. And that leaves 2 to defend.
There's Andorio.
You want to buy time, but how could you in this kind of situation where Falcons just keeps going for it?
Charge, surge, finding Andorio, forcing him to back off, retreat into his own side of the jungle. Oh, he's playing possum. He's just having Falcons chase him down. Kyle and Andorio.
Cat and mouse.
All right.
They're up top.
Hiding in one, surges into one brush, feints the recall. Kyle TZ severs the heel. Andorio running around. Tom and Jerry.
Trying to catch him here. The rest of the team, they're happy with that. They got all the turrets.
Oh, in comes Few. Wings by wings. They know that they're in the Y brush. And the stun and the takedown. All the ults thrown to take down the Nightmare.
What perfect timing. Andorio won't be there for the Lord. Not that they could be confident enough to contest it either way, but that just minimizes their chances of making other plays, which could like bring up their goal, because that's what they need. That's what they need right now. They're clearly at a disadvantage, and it feels like a very passive situation or gameplay from Smart Omega.
This is one of those situations where you just, I don't know, even for me, it's like, man, we gotta move on to the next. You saw the damage, right? I mean, even Okir and Jome were behind Flap. And I know, Flap, for the most part, playing this Badang, he's been able to just set things up with that fist crack and the fist break and everything else, but that's a big problem for Smart Omega. The Lord is obviously taken. It's going to get ready to march in the base. Falcons did everything they had to on the first Lord, getting all the turrets down. So base is exposed, and now you're facing probably one of the biggest leads this weekend. Deficits that Smart Omega has to deal with as this Lord marches in.
I mean, if they get to go for the bounty onto Kyle TZ, that'll be a lot too, but how could you just go for him? Everything is being set up perfectly for the damage dealers of Falcons, and now that we're just waiting for the Lord, I don't see any play that Omega could do at this point, not unless Luis decides to go in with a flicker, but they started themselves.
Flap TZ compromising Andorio. The Glorious Pathway coming in, and they're revitalized from Chaknu. The Lord, the implosion, the feathered airstrike, all but the kitchen sink thrown at Smart Omega. Lewis and Chaknu fall. Andorio trying his darndest. Double kill for Super Marco. Down goes Jome. Ukir, the only one left, and that'll be it. Game 1 goes to Falcons.
A dominant game 1 for Falcons as they fly high already. A massive, massive lead that the Barangay could do nothing about.
That last sequence looked very, very sad for the Barangay. Imagine relying or want...
lineup of Falcon. The Glue can displace the Phobius if ever the Phobius... yeah, this might be a tough game for Sanford. TLPH need to make sure their timings and initiations are very tight.
Yeah, Falcons definitely feels like they just didn't overthink it. There's a Phobius, let's pick a carry, and let's go into the game.
Okay, so early on...
Let's go into the game.
It's going to be getting the info that it's an orange start for Carl TZ, so it's going to be separate unless Carl TZ changes his rotation. There's nothing else to get in the jungle. So interesting movement by Kyle TZ. He cleared up his orange side, didn't get his own purple. He's going to go ahead and steal the Crammer up top. Then he might go for the gold and then get his purple buff. Unique timings here, but he might get caught out and spotted out by TLPH.
Very King Kong-esque rotation for Kyle TZ. You really want to maximize on getting the level 15 before the 10-11 minute mark, because again, they're up against Carl TZ and JP with the Alpha Matilda combination. But this is what you mentioned a while ago. The control that TLPH has on the mid lane so far, you can expect them to really dominate the river early on.
Yeah, but right now, Ogwen seems to be setting the tempo alongside Few with a faster clear and the higher damage early on by the Khalid. Good rotations by Kyle TZ and Falcon. Kyle TZ was able to hit level 4 first, but if I'm not mistaken, Kyle TZ, if he gets this, should be leading in the EXP, yes.
There you go. So I also like this Few that's very aggressive in the mid. Hold on.
Okay, turtle spawn, but there's a clash coming into the middle lane, forcing Few to flicker out, plus use that ultimate right away, but on the other hand, Flap TZ up against 3, use the split split already. Carl TZ is here. Is he going to be able to get the turtle? Yes, he did, but in exchange for his own life, as Kyle TZ will get the kill. Few, on the other hand, goes down as well. This is an engage. TLPH wants to go for more, but JP says we will disengage. TLPH gets 2, Falcon gets 1.
It's very clean, very swift here for TLPH. I love the decisiveness as well. of TLPH to just take that, despite all the distractions that Falcons were actually throwing their way.
Yeah, KarlTzy able to go forward, keep himself a safe distance away from the combo of the glue and able to retrieve that turtle, which is why TLPH won that initial engage. OHEP and Super Marco both pack Master Assassin. So yeah, they're really looking just to dominate the duel there. And at the same time, because there are some pretty tanky presences in the opposing side.
You're gonna have to break through it very well if you want to just keep the momentum going. Exactly what TLPH is known to be good at doing. So I love that for them. Right now, it feels like the focus is going to be on that top side, forcing a Raging Sandstorm as well from Ogwin. That might force Falcon to just play it safe for the next few minutes.
I mean, they have to. They don't have the reach so far because Ogwin expended already his Raging Sandstorm, as you mentioned. On the other hand, JP though did use the Circling Eagle, but again, one guiding wind can actually activate TLPH to go in for the kill and charge right away. So it's looking good so far for the Cavalry.
A good call. When TLPH actually got really good info that they could have invaded the purple buff, they decided to back off and then just default, return back to their lanes and positions. See JP and Sanji holding the north side. They're really doing everything they can. Oh, heaven to bottom.
Oh, KarlTzy goes in. Sanford as well, but he's going to get bursted down by Falcon. Hugh has the ultimate again, forcing out Sanford to walk away, but that's an engaged Falcon once again. That was out of nowhere. TLPH forcing a reaction here onto the middle lane, but Sanji and JP has to walk away up against 4 of Team Falcons.
That was beautiful timing for Falcons, knowing that there were not really any TLPH members left there to back them up. They went in for the kill and got a pretty easy one. Now they go for turtle.
They might try this. Sanji has Raging Sandstorm. They can go for this.
Okay, let's see. KarlTzy's in the picture right now. And Ogwin just charging up. Also has his Flicker plus the Raging Sandstorm. So let's see who's going to initiate first.
Nice.
5v5 on their hands, getting ready on that turtle. I think they will definitely... the power spike of OHEP comes in a lot earlier without hunters, right? Compared to Super Marco, who will need to farm it up. He only has the, what's this?
Look at this already in the picture. Sanji goes in the Raging Sandstorm, not going to connect, but a killing spree coming in from Sanford as they bring down Ogwin. But KarlTzy secures the turtle, plus the kill. FlapTzy is going to bring down Karl.
And I like their really calm demeanor here. They didn't take more. They knew what they had. They knew their firepower, and they estimated very well, not giving away any kills.
Yeah, and you see the homework that FlapTzy has been given. Just grab KarlTzy, do what you can to disrupt the retribution of the Alpha. It's gone on for both objectives now, or the previous objective, and it's gone well for them. Item update, War Axe already, so it's the path of the Suyo where it goes to the War Axe detour before full building the Hunter Strike. Yesterday we saw Demon Kite rushing Hunter Strike first, but that's because they're rocking a lineup that they're confident can snowball quickly. This one is a little bit more 50-50. That's why it's a little bit more of a, how do I call this? A conservative approach to itemization on the Suyo.
Yeah, very conservative. Might slow you down a lot.
Sanford.
Split. Sanford. The ult is not going to out-sustain the damage coming in from both Kyle and FlapTzy. Not looking good for Sanford right now. Karl manages to stay alive thanks to JP. So again, Falcon with a beautiful gap.
They're not done quite yet. Sanji with the clearing operations here with that feathered airstrike. And very controlled aggression coming in from Team Falcons. Ogwin, though, might be in trouble.
Okay, quick sound guard for Ogwin. Quick thinking from the Master. Luckily, OHEP still hasn't have his Sky Piercer, so not enough damage for the Filipino sniper to bring down Ogwin.
TLPH right now, they're starting to feel that the glue is the biggest problem. And again, we mentioned it in the draft, they don't have the right damage profile for it besides the Alpha. The damage of the Granger also will take some time for it to be felt by the glue, but even if it gets to the late game, FlapTzy will still be the biggest problem, and now TLPH will have to find a way to deal with that as the next sequences happen. Third turtle coming up in just a bit. It's not that big of a lead for Falcons. TLPH can contest this. But it's hard to find a scenario where they will be able to win an objective fight. KarlTzy can win a retreat battle, but the question of can they win a fight is a different one.
I think it's going to boil down to Sanji. If ever he decides to get the Raging Sandstorm, it's going to have to connect this time. Because previously it did not. Here comes Circling Eagle coming in from JP, who went on the other hand, trying to snow out the members of TLPH. It's going to be a retribution battle. Sanji connects with a Raging Sandstorm. Fuse secures the turtle, but the clash is still going on as they try to bring down Sanji. They will do so successfully. Sanford goes in right after Flapteasy. Flapteasy stays alive in the flicker round. And now Ogwin just really zoning out the members of TLPH. Will they go in? No casualties for the Falcons, and Sanji will fall down.
All right, I guess that was a pretty smart approach, Renmar, right? I mean, if they can't deal with the glue itself.
Pause terus ya bisa jadi makanan PH guys kalau
Not the hero,
gitu ya.
the bane. Not the hero, the bane of Team Falcons. Sorry, TLPH. And it's really hard to work around. And so far,
Lemes sekali bang.
Keep it up. I feel like they should just.
Jam buka puasa jam berapa ya bang ya?
Alpha is still a threat. Yeah, at this point, despite
Tenang bang, gua ini ya bang ya. Gua tetap pantau bang buat yang live-nya. Daripada kita nganggur. Atau juga ini belum dinobarin guys.
Oh, wait a minute, they're trying to go for Kyle Chasey, the Filipino sniper with one
Belum
bullet.
dicas ini bang, makanya lemes bang. Butuh info STES ini.
But Falcons said, you know what, we're going to open up the map too, pushing the bottom lane by Super Marco, and in the mid, Few is actually already using the Feathered Airstrike to clear out the minion waves so that TLPH won't be able to push down the mid lane. Open slow.
Okay, split coming in from Flapteasy, forced out early on by TLPH. Now they're going to transition onto the purple buff. DHS picked up already by Super Marco, so let's see if Falcon, if this is a go sign for them. But both teams will disengage.
Yeah, that's a signal. Once you use the Feather Airstrike, that's a signal that the rest of the team just has to kind of just back off here at this point.
Mulai juga, breaknya lama guys kalau PH guys.
Basically the same.
Break lama, kita tidak tahu mereka yang bicara apa ya guys.
It's not a big lead, but it's something. I have to say, Carltesis, by being 0-free, is keeping up with the levels, not as donked on like we usually see with teams that face off against King Kong, like for instance, like when he gets super ahead.
Yeah, they've taken this route where the Alpha is now turned into utility. He's 0-3 and 2. Oheb has 3 items locked in: Hunter Strike, Skypiercer, and the Malefic Roar. Meaning that TLPH's approach definitely needs to adjust and accept that, okay, we're just setting things up for Oheb.
Flapteasy goes in with the ultimate. They might be able to burst out Flapteasy. Split, not going to be enough. It has with the Filipino sniper, going to bring down one. Few on the other hand, with a Feather Airstrike, going to bring down Sanford as well, and XP4 and XP.
Dapetin
Right as the
buffnya
Lord
guys.
has spawned, Carlteasy goes right after Kyle. Sanji flickers in, Raging Sandstorm combination. Now trying to work on Few. 3 members down for the Falcons. Make it more. Now Sanji and Sanford is going to fall down. Oheb, will he be able to make it in time? 3 members are down and TLPH gets the Lord.
The young Phenom, what a play by Sanji. Flicker Raging Sandstorm as the Valentina, and then he went to the other side of the wall and got another kill at that more.
Marco, gonna bring that too. OM is not in the picture, and now Candy Flickers in, bringing Carlteasy with him. Owen uses the Raging Sandstorm to disrupt the formation of TLPH. Super Marco, super activated with 2-0-2.
TLPH has taken no breaks whatsoever. They keep fighting, and they don't seem to be running out of bullets.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Things have finally simmered down after a hot 30-40 seconds of action that we've seen. Lord marching up top there for TLPH. And they are definitely in control right now. But Falcons, in terms of the resources, are very close. Flapteasy already has the Athena shield. He should be surviving a little bit more of the magic damage dished out by the Valentina. That's becoming a problem for him.
Nice engagement here from Ogwin. I think they want to go for something here.
A flap.
Sanji has his own Feather Airstrike though. Gonna burst down Sanford. All of a sudden, Super Marco making quick work of that. They can't reach so far, but here comes Oheb! The Filipino sniper brings down 2 plus a turret. TLPH once again rocking with his lineup.
This is what I'm talking about, right? The Filipino sniper doesn't just apply to Beatrix anymore. You can snipe from downtown to the Granger, no problem, same effect.
And TLPH did what we said that they should do. At this point, adjust your approach to team fighting and make sure you just set up for Oheb. They fought that, it looked back, but you actually saw Carlteasy and the others say, wait, let's hold this front, Oheb's on the way, and Oheb will be able to get a kill, which he did.
Literally a movie protagonist here at this point, waiting for the cavalry to arrive here. And TLPH, they worked wonders with that strategy.
It's funny, Sanji just picked up the ultimate of Carlteasy. Just used it right away. So far, Sanji, I like to highlight that he did use the Feathered Airstrike up against them, but Carlteasy goes in. Counter-attack coming in from Ogen with the Raging Sandstorm. Sandstorm just trying to work on Super. Marco got terrified as well. Will he be able to bring him down? No! Sandstorm's the first man down, while OF working on Flat TZ. TLPH has one member down, but it looks like they're still in the driver's seat.
Okay, so TLPH are continuing the aggression. At some point, they're going to have to make sure that it doesn't lead to losses on their side to get control. But right now, in terms of the gold, that's definitely TLPH leaning. Gold laner is still very close. So Super Marco is still something that TLPH needs to respect. But right now, as it stands, they have a strong front line. They can sustain. Sanji has been aggressive and has actually been helping set up OHEB with dealing the initial burst, and then OHEB will follow up for the finish.
That's right. And I really like that this is happening that way, right? It's not just pure firepower from OHEB. He really has to wait for the setup for the team. And that's also happening on Team Falcon's side. So it's becoming less of a battle of firepower, more of a battle of who is going to mess up first.
OF starting to heat up. OF starting to hurt, even forcing Q2 to recall. That's why TLPH has a better position on securing this Lord. Will Falcon contest circling Eagle from JP as Calm TZ gets the Lord. Now Falcon has to engage here, but TLPH is ready to re-engage, forcing Falcons to retreat.
Good call there by TLPH. They understood that they had a good position. They had the advantage. Sanji was holding a very crucial bush. Info that no one was there. No one was aggro and showing themselves on the side of Falcon, so they decided to rush it. And at the same time, the Terrify coming in from Shanji's Shadow Strike has been a thorn on the side of Flap TZ. So what was supposed to be the biggest problem on their side has actually been solved. The LPH has dealt with this clue really well in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's not as godlike as he was in the first few minutes of this game, 100%, especially with OHEB's damage helping. Will that lose HP down?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how they prioritize giving OHEB a lot of resources to scale up, get the items, and even forcing Carl TC to be a utility instead of having enough damage for this alpha. So clearly, it's paying off for the cavalry.
Could be seeing a very broken turret here. Although it is going to be put on half. They're starting to fight. They want to do it on two fronts.
Okay. Sanji has his own Raging Sandstorm plus the Flicker, so they can engage. But they're going to do this methodically and try to go for
good stun.
There you go. Great stun there. And Team Falcons made quick work of that Lord, but they lose an inhibitor up top.
JP, good guiding win to save his members from getting taken down after an initial good stun entry by Kyle TZ. Super Marco now has the Malefic gun. So this carry definitely needs to get checked. But right now, one of the problems for Falcons is somehow their front line is just not holding on long enough for the carry to be able to deal the damage that the carry is expected to do. Looking at the items of Ogwen, he only has 2 fully built. He had to rush the Immortality before he gets that Oracle, while the glue is still on the way to the Dominance Ice.
The biggest problem with the front line of Falcons here is that TLPH just has such good poke, right? Yeah, from each and every member, even JP's hits are being felt here. Just because of the lack of itemization on some members, but at the same time, Falcons also kind of still packs a punch here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're approaching the 16-minute mark. Who knows how much stacks OEB has with the Granger. Just clearly tapping and spamming all the ultimates, all the Death Sonatas, and on the right targets, because during the previous Lord, he was able to poke out Few. That's why Few had to recall and force Falcon out of position for that Lord take.
That's crucial, yeah, 100%. It enabled them to really get so much area, so much vision, that it slowed down Falcons' approach.
All right, so far TLPH, they've been throwing a lot of bodies, specifically Sanford's Phobias.
They could possibly flex it like they did with the Badang
I
earlier
hope
on.
not.
They
I hope
like went if, you know what I mean? Because we said that day one, and we saw it a couple times.
And
that
it lost.
It did
It
lose.
lost.
It did.
Gloriously.
Well, I mean, they took out majority of like the threats too for the Jawhead right here. So
Let's go.
they
Game
should
kedua, bro.
be, confident enough to pick up what's left in the mid lane. The Sicilian, the Valentina, because even the Faramis is out.
There's
The Eve, the Farsas, if they really want to go for that, they're confident enough since they already have like some sort of playmaking hero in their hands too. But given their lineup,
Penuh,
They still
penuh.
go for the Valentina. So even if Falcons decides to go for the Pars
Jawab.
again,
Kok gak ada yang
or the
Cyclops ya
Eve
guys?
even,
Kenapa ya?
that still be okay for Smart Omega.
This is also just really good because even, I mean, obviously you get your choice of ultimates,
Nggak
but
dapet
just having that
Cyclops,
terrifying effect.
kok
Let's say you
edit
go
sih
in
apa
for
sih
that,
hero yang nggak
injector,
laku-laku
you
guys.
dupe, toss someone up.
Yep.
Keeps
Banyak
them
sih
there a
hero
little
yang nggak
longer
laku,
if you
bro.
go ahead and,
Cuma apa ya?
stack up those CCs, if you will. It allows the Suyo to be able to make plays because some of that early pressure can just be in the side lanes early on, and those three heroes alone, when you're rotating in that trio roam combination is good enough to get Suyo kills. So I think it's Smart Omega really wanting to emulate what Falcons did for Kyle TZ in the previous game. You know, get the start going, get the ball rolling early on. So what is the answer? What's the response here from Falcons? It's going to be a chip and an Eve.
Whoa, 2 major ultimates. Literally overwhelming Okir in terms of choices.
You could say 3 with the electrifying beats.
Yep.
Right. So now for the Luis hero, which was left last, like what does he use to stop those quick rotations? What does he use to go head-to-head with Hilda? There's the CC that's still available, but they still decide to go for the Hylos.
Hylos XP?
Hylos XP.
When was the last time we saw that work?
So,
Legit question, like I forgot.
I mean,
I
It's
also
been a while. It's been a while. I'm not saying it's never going to work. I'm just,
November?
I'm inquiring.
it's been a minute. We're going to ask the stat guy for that one. I know, shout out to Renmar. Renmar's probably at home right now looking it up, typing in his master stats, you know? But it's interesting that they go this way, but I do feel like I'm going to lean towards the fact that I like what Smart Omega did for the draft, at least in Game 2. I think the tools or the pieces are there for them to go ahead and have a similar start than Falcons did in Game 1. The only thing is how do they actually respond to the fact that, yeah, there is a lot of ultimates for here, for Akira to go ahead and take. Not only that, but then you also have to be mindful of the chip. We have seen the chip fall off in the past, but we still are reminded why it's such a good pick when it does occasionally pop
let's
off.
go guys ya.
To Mobile Legends. There's no clear answer to the chip. Like when Ogwin says it's go time,
it's go time.
Omega better be ready to go time.
And if you'd want to think about picking up an AOE ultimate similar to the real world manipulation, you can't just immediately decide to use it when you're taken by surprise by those sudden Y-walks or shortcuts coming in from Team Falcons, and they're likely to do that. You have to position yourself if you were Okir. So if you decide to go with that, you'd have to take into consideration an ultimate you could use to respond to those surprise attacks, or if you wanted to be the playmakers this time, which is again mentioned in our keys to victory, then something that could complement that aggression.
Yeah, and while we wait for the teams here to get settled, of course, in the early rotations, just a quick reminder and heads up, you guys can go ahead and grab your tickets right now for next week's matches. Head over on the line to go ahead and find those and grab them because they do go fast. Now, looking at the emblems, Brig, anything sticking out to you?
Nothing too unusual. There's, again, the speed, the mobility taken into consideration for Flap, but Luis, it seems like his role here is just really mainly to tank all the damage, given the emblem combination. So I'm starting to see an idea of how Smart Omega really wants to take this by team fight, given the kind of emblems that they chose to go for and given the lineup. But then there's a drawhead too, so like they have multiple choices.
Luckily, Falcon's damage profile doesn't really threaten Lewis, at least until the late game. He can tank it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, at this point too, it's a little calmer of a start, but Chaknu might be looking to try to catch Ogwin here.
Oh no! He's cornered, pops the Purify, forced to respond. Ogwin sitting there about a third of his health, as Lewis tries to pull out the turtle.
I think it's good though. Get that Purify out before this turtle fight.
Yep.
He isn't 4 yet. Ogwin doesn't have his ultimate yet though. So they're just simply zoning each other prior to this turtle.
Both teams unsure if this is a turtle or not. Andoryu retreats to the orange buff. Ukir here gets blasted in front. Ogwin waiting for
there you go.
The full-on shortcut, pulls a trigger. This is enough to make enough space for Falcons to get that turtle. Kyle TZ scores.
That was beautiful zoning coming in from Flap TZ. Unlike Ogwin, deciding to clear a single XP lane minion and getting a hold of his ultimate by the time they were dancing around the turtle, Chaknu was being zoned out so well he wasn't able to gain any experience. So they weren't able to fight or contest that turtle that was controlled by Falcons.
It was peaceful deterrence. There was no violence. No blood was shed for this turtle.
And maybe that's the best, I mean, for both the teams right now, because even for Falcons lineup, right, we already talked about how they need some time to build up, and that might be part of the game plan. If they can avoid these fights that obviously Chaknu is going to be looking for on the Jawhead, then so be it. You know, don't let it break out into the fight if you don't have to, even though you have some of that early damage already, for example, for Kyle Teasy. So just secure these objectives early on.
Yeah, they're avoiding it so much. We haven't seen any kills. Now that even we're nearing the 4-minute mark of the game. And if I'm not mistaken, was Omega the team to set the 10 minutes into the game, we still don't have kills game last season? And I think it happened pretty early on too.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those, I feel like, especially last season. But, you know, this is more so the case too that Smart Omega, that they needed this. Oh, Chaknu.
Whoa, Kyle Teasy knew Chaknu was there. Power of wildness. Serving up a kill to Kyle Teasy. First blood drawn, and now the answer. A stolen real-world manipulation. Few flickers on out of there, denying Omega a clapback.
So many resources used up by Smart Omega. The flicker from Chaknu, the ultimate from Okir, the stolen real-world manipulation. But still, they weren't able to take out Few.
Oh, inside the jungle, Omega faces off a shortcut once more. A peaceful invasion.
As much as it can be.
A polite theft of the buff.
It's literally like, hey, we're here. Thanks for the buff. Uh-oh, Jome.
Oh, Jome! Big J about to get squashed here. And an SOD plus a flicker to deny that two-man gang. Moving up to the turtle. Omega collapsing down. Kyle Teasy with the steal! Highway robbery! Once more,
Kelas itu bro.
politely as it gets.
Andrew gak ada retry ya,
politely being done by Falcons here. I don't know if like there was a well-timed stun coming in from Ogwen too, but that was just such a clutch retribution play coming in from Kyle Teasy.
Give me your turtle, please.
Give me your buffs, your turtles, and everything else, please. And what makes it funny is Joy is like the perfect hero for that to happen. Because you literally just, you know, step on in with your beats, you grab it and leave.
With max stacks, so you have the immunity, and then you get on out of there. Better than even Suyo, because Suyo has that moment, that window wherein if you get hit, you get hit.
Yeah.
But Joy can say, yeet!
Yeah, and they like have little to no resources to do that just yet, not unless Chaknu just really reserves those interruption skills. Luis isn't always together with them during the objective takes because Falcons just does it so fast. They do it so quick, aside the fact that they're able to always surprise a Smart Omega. Even looking at the positionings here for Ogwen and Kyle Teasy, you cannot split up if you were Smart Omega. That'll be an easy target for Falcons, but just the same.
Flap Teasy welcomes 4 into that Y brush. Ogwen deep behind enemy lines. All right, there's no theft here.
Yeah, not going to happen this time. But it was, you know, Kyle Teasy pushing up on that tier 1 turret top side, gets that. He's just having a good old time. Like, he doesn't really have to join these fights, and that's one of the powers of the chip, right? You know that because when Ogwen decides, all right, I'm dropping down my shortcut, you can just have the whole party there if you want to. Yep. So he's going to put pressure elsewhere because he already knows. Again, he has that kind of that freedom to do that against Smart Omega's lineup.
Yep, and the Falcons are just too quick to rotate. It's always Ogwen being the first to get hold of the important brushes. And even now, I'm pretty sure they have an idea that they're just standing right there. But oh, look at that damage.
From Few alone. Okir down to half health. That was but a poke.
So how will they be dancing around the turtle this time? They're being blocked off by Few with just those void crystals and void blasts.
Oh man, right now I'm sure Flap, if he could on this hill, that he'd be doing that pose just right in the faces of Luis and Chaknu, because that's just another objective which really can't be contested. I mean, and what's sad about it, if for Smart Omega, like, you have the jawhead, so your whole goal is to go ahead and get those pickoffs, but literally the only person that's been in range for Chaknu to catch is mostly Flap.
Yes.
Like, you're not going to, even if you toss Flap, he's just going to sprint away.
Yeah, because it's going to happen in the brushes.
And his itemization is perfect for what Omega brings. Lady, gentlemen,
look at him.
Anti-Karas and tough boots. And look, he's going to survive this. Real world manipulation, stolen away, and he lives!
He's doing the flex right now.
What did I say? He lives!
And if they do decide to go for Ogwen, he has the Purify. So like there are so much limited options for Smart Omega to decide and engage in a team fight. Oh no!
Chaknu goes down, Flapteezy finds one, and the rest of Falcons collapse on this tier 2 down bottom.
This is more along the lines of some surgical gameplay going on. And anytime you've got the chip, that's what you can do here.
This is vintage Falcons. Even as far back as when they were Falcons AP Bren, when they were AP Bren, they would just slowly collapse down onto you, strangle your resources, take you away from your farm.
Yeah. I can imagine him doing the pose each time he uses that sticker, but wait!
Glorious Pathway by Lewis, unable to save Andoryu. He goes down. That's a kill from Marco, and the rest of Omega retreat.
That seems like supposedly a lot of ways for Smart Omega to slow down Falcons. But it isn't enough. Not even the Glorious Pathway, not even the real-world manipulations can prevent Falcons when they decide to go all in, when they decide to commit into a team fight.
So does that mean it's all on Jom?
You know, it doesn't have to be, is the main point here for Smart Omega lineup, because again, if they were able to catch out Flap earlier on, you saw that they had close enough damage to kill him, but they just didn't cap out the kill, and that's again because of the fact that, you know, UNTUK here, when he takes that real world manipulation, then maybe he's able to pump out enough damage, but look at the itemization. You know, he's too far behind right now to actually pump out that damage. So they're just going to lose this Lord as well.
Shortcut down bottom! Big J gets sandwiched by 4, and the rest of them retreat. All this while, Falcons was taking the Lord. There's nothing on the board for the barangay.
That was very unfortunate. Jom was just trying his best to farm. That was typical Moskov split push gameplay, but that was anticipated here by Ogwen, and it was an immediate response from the rest of the members of Team Falcons.
And going back to that question that Leo asked, is it all on Jom? Well, they don't want it to be, and they're not going to let it happen. So, hey, a milestone for the idol. Few now ranks 3rd in MPLPH all-time kills, 1356, surpassing Benny Cutie, and they're looking for more.
Falcons looking to penetrate. Glorious Pathway set down by Lewis to help the rest of Omega retreat. You can almost feel Omega's nerves as Falcons circle around them in the sky, waiting to crash in. Holy Shields taken down from mid and top.
Shield's already popping. So they're going to go ahead and work in with this Lord, at least looking to take maybe 1 or 2 turrets again. With this type of lead, like they did in the previous game, can Smart Omega defend it?
That's a stolen real world manipulation. UNTUK here helps set up the defense. Lord, down to 1/10 of its health, will go down, saving that inhibitor.
Yep, it seems like a very disciplined approach from Falcons. They wouldn't want to risk having to fight under that turret with incomplete resources.
There's a real world manipulation coming in as the rest of Falcons bear down on this mid lane inhibitor. Omega's base penetrated, top lane up next on the docket. Chaknu gets hit by a Void Crystal, a Void Blast. In goes Kyle Teasy, popping the ult, clearing the wave, and the turret falls. Looking for the snapback. Here's Omega, the flicker, and the ejector. Chaknu goes down. Lewis finds Marco, though. A double kill for Kyle as Andoryu falls.
Andoryu falls. I mean, Chaknu finds the right mark, kills Super Marco, but again, what are they going to do off of that? They lost the 2 base turrets, and that's only that first Lord.
Yep, Falcons were already happy enough with what they were able to get during that entire sequence. They might even attempt to still go for this last inhibitor turret for Smart Omega, since they only lost the Super Marco either way, so they can still possibly push up the waves. And I mean, look at that zoning. They're just dancing around the members of Smart Omega. But fortunately for them, they're able to defend. And Jom, at this point, already has his Trinity build. So somehow they already have a bit of damage to dish out, but they have to be very, very careful.
think at this point it's more so what we just witnessed, right? It's like Smart Omega, most of their chances or most of the opportunities that they get are going to be from Chaknu deciding to go in and kind of like sacrifice his body. Like that's the story of a lot of roamers out there, and that's, you know, how it usually goes when you're this far behind. Now, not to say they can't turn this game around. We've seen some crazier things already in week 1.
Yep.
But it is looking a little dire, so they've got to be able to go ahead and catch up to where they need to be. And also, part of this is also, again, Ukir, how he's utilizing the ultimates that he's taking, and most likely it's been the real manipulation. Ogwin, though.
Ogwin sets up a shortcut. Here comes the cavalry. The nest unloads. Chome put down very low. Kyle Teasy was taking the Lord, and he responds. Lewis gets slain, and the rest of Omega retreat. They can't take this fight.
Oh, they want more?
It's not done! Ogwin sets up a CC. Not enough as the rest of Falcons want to take another lane.
There was already an adjustment. There were members watching Jome because they already had an idea that that could happen. But even despite that, it wasn't just a successful team fight for Team Falcons. It was an objective secured for them. They already have the Lord marching down the middle lane.
Once again, the power of the chip and that shortcut, and now it's Smart Omega, the Barangay on the defense here.
An enhanced Lord crashing into the base, waiting to jump through. Oh, Chaknu looking low. Andoryu goes first. Chaknu survives, but not long enough to help quell this defense as Falcons get their first win in Season 15.
And congratulations. The Falcons here flying very high in the series. The first showing that we get from Smart Omega.